Hello everyone and welcome to the first ever Melty Type Lumina official tournament United States edition, hosted none other than Eliphant. My name is Fox and I'll be joining you this morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and I'll be hosting the United States Central Qualifier. And alongside me, I have, as always, the wonderful Jaden.
Yeah, hey everybody. Thanks for the great welcome. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm personally super excited to see who takes this tournament. We had over 50 people in the big pools yesterday, and we have this fabulous top 8. So we've got Lucy, Lunar, Masoma, Blooming Lotus, Wowza, Shinigami, Tenshi, and Manly FGC. So a really vibrant showing from the central region. Just a really great way to kick off this entire US tournament circuit.
Yes. Hopefully a lot of our players aren't cooled down from yesterday, because I know a lot of players have the issue where they do a top 16, top 24 the day before, they come back to play top 8. They might have cooled down, they're not as ready as they were, but hopefully they played a lot of practice matches earlier today before they got to this top 8, and they should be ready, because these are the players, some of these players I expected to see here, and some of them are newer getting through the bracket. So hopefully
so let's take a look at that bracket. So on the winner's side, we've got Lucy versus Lunar, and that's coming up first. And then we've got Masoma versus Blooming Lotus. I think looking at the pools yesterday, this is probably what people expected, but why don't you take us through the loser's bracket, Fox?
Then we have Wowza versus Shinigami, and then we have Tenshi versus Manly FTC. Some of these players are more versed in the online tournament side of the Type Lumina, and one or two of them you've seen on, organizing more tournaments, playing in more brackets. That person being Tenshi, Manly FGC going out to more offline events, but also playing online. And then Shinigami, they mostly have played online from what I've seen. And then Wowza, I actually haven't seen them that much, but I know they're a stronger player in their own right for the online tournaments.
Yeah, so when I was looking at what Wowza does, they're a Shiki player, I know, and they're very new, it seems like, to the scene, but they were 7th at Texas Showdown, and then in another Texas local, they were 2nd. So they're definitely getting a good showing, and for them to make it through this really, honestly, a murderous bracket here is very impressive.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, who's in the Midwest of United States? And there's actually a lot of strong players in the Midwest. It's kind of split up with players. A lot of players don't know Midwest or West Coast for some reason, even though a lot of them travel to the more known events. So they would be going to things like Combo Breaker, Evo, Frosty Faustings, Texas Showdown. So you get the representation across the board there. So a lot of people, if you're paying attention, you'll see some of these names and be like, oh, I remember this person from this tournament, and so on.
Right, so I'm curious, I have some people that I know that I'm looking out for during this. Who are the people that you've got your eye on? Because, the last time that we commentated together was at Combo Breaker, and several of these people were in our top 8. So who are you looking at to be one of the people to, just keep your eye on for this tournament?
Honestly, I would say it would be Masoma, mostly because he got he got 3rd at Combo Breaker, but he typically does get 1st or 2nd at a lot of the locals and majors that are around. However, you do have other players like Lucy. She has been playing a lot of the online brackets. They've been making multiple top 8s. They played offline. I think it was supposed to be for Frosty Faustings. They got top 8. They didn't make it as high as they wanted to, but they've played a bunch of the cast in their own right, and their defense and their decision making is really strong. So hopefully we get to see some more of that come through this tournament.
Yeah, those are definitely two of the ones that I'd be looking out for, but I also want to throw Blooming Lotus's name into the hat as well. Blooming Lotus, one of the premier DI Noel players, but also has a Hisui Kohaku as a backup when they don't like the matchup, which I think is really interesting to watch. They were 5th at Combo Breaker. They play a ton online, but they also have a lot of general knowledge from other fighting games. They also play BB Tag, Grand Blue vs. Uni, Keiwa 15, Tekken 7, and that sort of mechanical skill can really affect the way that you play and the way that you read a match. So I'm excited to see that, but I'm also really excited to see some of these lesser known to me players, like Shinigami in particular, promotes a lot of material, but doesn't have a lot of tournaments under their belt, just some online tournaments. So I want to see what they bring to the table.
Right. There's more players also like Wowza, and I think a lot of people should know Tenshi just because he helps organize the PSA, I forget how Panic Shield Anonymous
yes,
tournament
Panic
series.
Shield Anonymous.
There we go. He actually is responsible for that whole series, and I think there's also going to be another series coming up by him, but I'm not sure yet. But usually every week, every 2 weeks, there's a weekend bracket that's being run, and he also plays characters like Akiha, Dead Apostle Noel, sometimes plays CL and Tono. So
Right.
he's well versed in the game. He's been playing for a good while as well. So I think a lot of people were just like, oh, okay, I didn't know he was in this bracket. Mostly because a lot of people don't know players' regions where they come from sometimes, because you just see them online. You're like, okay, I don't know what state they're from, what city they're from, things like that.
Yeah, we actually have a really diverse north-south division in this entire central region. So I believe we've got 2 from Texas, 1 from Louisiana, 1 from Michigan, Oklahoma, Ohio. I'm sorry, we have 3 Texas. That's a lot of Texas. And Illinois. So we definitely span the entirety of the central region, and it's really exciting because you get to see these players come together at, some offline events, but to have something so specialized for them to be able to fight each other and really show off what the central region has to offer, especially on the sort of on the heels of some very big events coming up, is going to be really cool to see.
Yes, I know a lot of people see the Midwest, well, the greater Midwest, and just like, wait, I didn't know you included Texas there. It's like, yeah, Texas is a part of the Midwest if you go along from like the top of the United States to the bottom. But Texas is a very strong region in terms of a lot of their quote unquote anime games. Masoma, Lunar, they're probably the 2 strongest proponents in terms of French bred games. So I know a lot of people are just like, yeah, this makes sense. Texas is always talking about how they're strong in every game. But the rest of the Midwest region has been really strong in a lot of their own right over the past couple of years. Because I know Frosty Fausting's being held there. A lot of the Midwest talent gets to just show up because it's in their backyard. You don't have to worry about, oh, I got to travel to California, I got to travel to New Jersey, New York to play. But they can just show up to one of the bigger regional majors in their region and show off what they got. So hopefully this is what we get to see later on from the other regions as well. But right now we're getting ready to get into this top 8. Hopefully the players are ready, and I think our first set of matches should be the winner's side. It should be Lucy versus Lunar, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that should be our first match. So Lucy, previously, actually before Frosty was playing Roa, and has switched to Coma, and has been playing them a lot. So I mean, there's some similarities between the characters a little bit in that they're big old bullies, but Lunar has been playing DA Noel pretty much exclusively since the character came out. So things that I'm going to be looking for is how Lucy is able to get in on Coma, because Coma is the grappler character of this entire game, and DA Noel has so many fantastic zoning tools that a lesser Coma player will have a hard time getting in. So I'm interested to see what Lucy brings to the table in that regard.
Right. She also has been playing Vlav a little bit here, because I know a lot of people are just like, if you're not playing Vlav, are you trying to win? That kind of sentiment. But Vlav is really good at fighting a lot of the cast from full screen, and it doesn't hurt when you think that if you have a bad matchup, you can pick a stronger character. A lot of people have this connotation of, you pick stronger character, oh, you don't work hard to win, when in reality, you pick the strong character, you still have to understand how they work. You can't just, oh, I'm going to pick something that's perceived to be top tier and just beat everybody. You still have to understand that people know how to fight top tier because they're also trying to win, and it's on you to do your research, figure out how to combat moves, what strategies occur, how to use your system mechanics, things like that.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point, because you can play a top tier character, but there's a stronger likelihood that you're going to run into a player that knows how to counter your character, because they run into them all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always excited to see more Vlav. I love Vlav. Vlav is my homie. I play Vlav. So I'm always excited when I'm like, oh, Masoma's in the bracket. Great. I get to learn things. But it would be interesting to have Lucy bring that out in this kind of matchup, because I actually think that Vlav does really well against DA Noel. And
I would agree.
I mean, there's just, he's got longer ranged moves. So it's easier to keep her out, and then she can't do her projectile game against you. And Noel, or DA Noel, has to have a lot more hits on a character than Vlav does to kill them. And that's really important in this game.
That's true. However, Koma does have the added benefit of having armor on a lot of his special moves, charged C normals. So if you do jumping C, down C, and you hold the button, you gain a lot of armor. So much armor that even if they hit you with something like a projectile or a DP even, you kind of just blow through that and hit them anyway, because that's the compromise they made for the character. Like, yeah, Koma's a grappler, he's kind of slow, his air dash is a little bit slow, his run speed's not the best, but if he's jumping in the air and you see him charge you, you need to know what the response is, or else you're just going to get clobbered and he gets his free in and he starts grappling. And that's what a lot of people are just terrified of.
Right. His charge is it's actually really terrifying to fight against, especially because in this game when you commit to a move, you really have to know that you had that opening, because otherwise with a character like Koma, they can just charge all the way through what you're doing, and then you've given them a huge advantage. And Koma hits really hard, which again is another compensation that they made for the character, being that he's a little bit slower and he has to get in and, fight against all of the projectiles and things that a lot of these other characters have.
Right. Also, with the added benefit of the mechanics in the game, like shield, moon drive, being able to heat to get your life back and stop the clock, using those correctly makes it so that you mitigate parts of the bad matchup. Even though I know a lot of people will say, it doesn't shield just solve everything. Not really. You still have to use it in correct situations. You have to make sure you're not just blindly using it too often, because then if you're just sitting there in position with the button being held, you can get punished, and that puts you in the bad situation once again. But I would say these players, they have a good understanding of how to use these mechanics. Sometimes you get nervous. It's understandable. It's tournament. You're just like, oh man, on the normal situations, I know what the response is, but you start to second guess yourself. You're like, I pressed the wrong button. I slipped, things like that happen as you play.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, and heavens, it's so hot. Like, heat is definitely a factor in the slipping right now. But because some of our viewers might be newer to Melty Blood as a franchise, why don't we talk a little bit about shield and shield counter, because this is an incredibly important tool at higher level gameplay, and we're going to be calling out things throughout these matches like, oh, that was a B counter, oh, that was a BC counter, that in case you're new and you don't understand, like, well, I don't know what that means specifically. So there's 3 kinds of counters. There's an A counter, a B counter, and a BC counter. I mean, and I guess there's really 4. You can do nothing with a shield as well. But Fox, why don't you take us through what those different things mean?
Sure. When you press the shield button, when you hold D and you successfully interact with something, you can press either the A button, the B button, or you can press B plus C at the same time. A gives you a launcher, B gives you a Dragon Ball-ish vanish behind the opponent with an overhead attack, and BC is think of it like a 45-degree thrust angle attack that's invincible for a little while. So the idea is that A beats people trying to do nothing when you shield them. B beats people trying to shield you back. So you'll go behind the shield, you claw them in the back of the head. And BC is for when you want an immediate response to get out. You don't want to deal with any of that. You don't want to guess anymore. And a lot of people choose BC because it's the fastest thing to do. And if you're the one shielding, you usually don't have to use more of your moon gauge resource that you'll see as the matches progress. But I know a lot of people think it's really confusing when you boil it down to like the simplest like rock paper scissors type thing. One beat, like I said earlier, one beats the other one beats the other one. One just kind of negates a lot of situations. But since there's the added benefit of being able to delay your follow-up now, as of a patch from April 2022, you can kind of like slightly delay those timings to throw off your opponent, which a lot of people appreciated, because now it's not an immediate response needs to be taken. You can wait a little bit longer. So as we watch these matches, you'll see players either do an immediate response or delay to beat a delayed response, which is kind of like the whole thing with fighting games. There's a whole lot of, oh, I know you're going to do this, so I need to do this like faster or slower or not at all.
A lot of the things that we see now, so that patch came out on April 14th, and that was the most significant patch that we've had in recent Melty Blood timeline. Something that we see a lot in response to that, especially because you do have the option to delay your decision after shield for a little bit, is people will go ahead and moon drive, which sort of puts a tiny little freeze, and you're able to get the chance to see what your opponent is doing. So sometimes in response to your opponent doing shield, you'll just stop.
I know a lot of people are also still confused about moon drive, but it's fairly simple. When you have more than half your moon gauge full, you press B plus C, and you will enter a state called Moon Drive. You actually gain invulnerability for a few frames. It's either 2 or 3. So you use that time. If you see an attack, you can retaliate with like a 2A, a throw, a Shoryuken, a super if you have it, or you can just press A plus B plus C. You get this burst-like type animation where it's unblockable, but you knock them away, you get your life back, you stop the clock as well, and as long as you have more than 1 bar of meter, it slowly drains, and then you get your gray life back. But a lot of people over the last, like 6 to 7 months, have learned how to fight the heat mechanic, because that's one of those things where it's very powerful. If you have 1 bar, you can kind of just unwake up, say, hey, I don't want to block anymore. But a lot of people have figured out defensive habits to bait out that heat and then still keep their turn and make it so that you have no meter anymore. So there's a lot of, at higher level play, you'll see a lot of people not choosing to do it right away. You'll see people using Moon Drive to gain passive meter, because when you use Moon Drive, you also gain meter for the duration of the gauge that you have. And also you'll see some people probably not use any of these abilities until much later into the match, because they're confident in decision making, they're confident in how to fight the opponent. If some opponents just want to use all their resources right away, then you don't have to worry about that later in the match, because it takes a while to regenerate Magic Circuit, Moon Gauge, and even the great life that you have.
Exactly. And I mean, there is a way that you can get Moon Gauge back by pressing A, B, and down. So sometimes, actually, Masoma is, I wouldn't say notorious, I feel like that's the wrong word, but he's well known for finishing one of his Vlav combos in a hard knockdown, and will go ahead and charge his Moon Gauge so that he has more of that to work with. So we just got word that we are getting ready to head into our first match. This is going to be Lucy versus Lunar, and I'm thrilled. I'm excited. I have said that probably 48 times since we started, but I've really been looking forward to this, and I hope you guys are too. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're going to get into this top 8 for the Melty Blood Type Lumina official United States Tournament Central Region.
All right. Players should be ready to go. They've probably done their button checks and their connection testing, so let's see if Lucy decides to pick Coma as opposed to Vlav, or even another character that I won't say yet if they decide to pick it. But yeah, Lunar is just going to stick with Dead Possible as far as we know. Yeah,
she's sitting on the little Coma Chibi right now. So I'm guessing that's what she's going to pick, but I mean, it's a really strong character, and I feel like in this sort of a format, go with what you're strongest with first.
Yep. Especially because if you play a lot of characters, you might start second guessing yourself. You think, oh, if I use this character, I can't do these things, or I haven't practiced this combo, or they've seen this character a lot. So you need to make sure that if you have multiple characters and you're playing a tournament, that you are ready to act upon that. You don't want to be any kind of hesitation upon yourself, because then you're just like, your decision making gets a lot less cleaner. You have a lot more mistakes, and you just start to play worse, and you start to tilt, which a lot of players have a problem with. But it's a fighting game. Fighting games are hard.
Fighting games are hard. There's an entire mental game that we talk about pretty frequently, no matter what tournament that this is a part of, no matter what game it's a part of. Because when there's something on the line, a lot of us get in our own heads about it. And I know you, Fox, have done a video about that, and about how to do tournament nerves and things like that. But it's important to reiterate, especially in even these online circumstances. There's a big audience here. Oh, and we are going to get Roa.
Okay, so it looks like she decided to fight zoning with zoning. Zoning, question mark, parentheses,
zoning adjacent.
Yes. So it's important for Lucy to just try to not interact too much with the projectiles from Dead Apostle Noel, but then at the same time, she occupies the space at all times. Alright, so here we go. We're in the semifinal. And already you can see Lunar just charging, trying to get that magic circuit.
And I like that Lucy's already using Lunar, just trying to see what she can get off of it, and then also trying to make sure that she always has enough Moon Gauge to counter whatever Luna's throwing.
Alright, so we can see, alright, we needed one Moon Gauge to see if
Yeah, so the BC kind of was what meant with the BC throw. They both just flew in opposite directions.
Alright, so you see Lucy, she's first she doesn't interact with the spears, but she gets tagged full screen. Now Lunar gets the dash up. Ooh, jump shield, did he vanish?
Alright, lightning into the corner, and so now Lucy's trying to pressure, but Lunar's doing a good job just blocking. Does get opened up briefly with the overhead, and now they're just jumping at each other.
Yeah, you can see Lunar trying to use his double jumps to make sure that Lucy can't pin him down. Oh, reversal DP, EX lightning.
This is the first major chunk of damage that we've seen. There is some recoverable life on the table for both of them. That's that blue part of the health bar. That is able to be recovered if they go ahead and activate their magic circuit with a heat. Okay, so the activated moon drive in the air, because that wouldn't have been safe for Lunar at all.
Yep. And it looks like Lucy has one more interaction before she can win this round. There's 14 seconds left on the clock. Oh no. Oh, she gets tagged for trying to press 2A there. Lunar
yeah, that blowback edge from DA Noel is really strong. And there's that heat activation, and look at all of the life that Lunar's gaining back.
Alright, good shield on the projectile. Nice. Lunar's just willing to kind of cause that scramble in the end there just to take his turn, because he had enough life there. Even if he got hit, Lucy, she couldn't do enough damage in those 2-3 seconds.
They are charging so much. I mean, I like that we address that people charge, because I don't think I've ever seen somebody charge this much in Melty Blood ever.
It's really strong in terms of getting your moon gauge back, getting your magic circuit. Ooh. And it also can impose some will that your opponent thinks that, oh, you're doing nothing, I'm just gonna run at you. And then you can act right after and hit them as well.
This first game is very tense. They're doing a lot of just neutral movement. Okay, finally, Lucy manages to catch Lunar with the C activation there.
Alright, so Lunar manages just to get in cleanly. Doesn't have to deal with any of the lightning anymore. Oh, there's the heat from Lucy. Doesn't want to have to block any more of Lunar's pressure.
Managing to just stay out of all of the nails that Noelle is throwing. Okay, and then BC's through the shield, even though Lunar didn't decide to do anything.
Oh, uh-oh. Empty jump throw on the shield. Mix up. Alright, stands with the 5A. Lucy's good on defense right now, not cracking, not making any mistakes. Gets out. Ooh, double overhead.
Yeah, that was really nice, especially to follow it up with the low, and has one count of the magic circuit to go ahead and EX that next move. Oh, didn't quite kill. So if Lunar wants to, they can go ahead and activate their heat and get a lot of health back. But there wasn't really a safe point for them to do that.
Alright, DP doesn't hit. Nice. Alright, so Lucy realized that she had 15 seconds left on Lunar, and unless Lunar got a clean hit to get his life back, she was okay to win that round. Oh, alright, moon drive activation again from Lucy, just trying to make sure they stay safe. Lunar activates his moon drive to make sure he doesn't get punished for those spears, because they are punishable if they don't hit you on the way down.
Okay, that was a really nice slow to mix it up, but the DP does hit that time. So, oh, and just, you can't block forever. Sometimes we throw those.
Shield and punish. Oh no, it's too far. Lucy, she didn't dash forward on that moon skill, but it's okay. She still keeps her turns.
Yeah, I like that they double shielded each other, and then Lucy decided not to commit there and went ahead and threw Lunar, which was leading to this entire combo.
Alright, so Lucy, she's in a good spot right now. As long as she doesn't let Lunar get a clean hit. Oh, air unblockable coming. There we go, very nice. There's no way to get out of that once you're stuck in the air blocking lightning. Round is close to being over. Oh no.
Not quite.
Oh, backdash gets caught? Yes, very nice from Lucy. So you saw the moon drive activation and you saw Lunar backdash, so Lucy saw all of that occur and then decided to just do the ground lightning there to just travel across the screen and tag the backdash.
That was a really intense first round, and I mean, I've seen both of these people play before, and it seemed very reserved for the way the both of them normally play. And I mean, I get that that's sort of, it's a lot of tournament stuff, and they're also feeling it out too, but I expect now there to be a little bit more confidence in both of their gameplay, especially, like, this is a much stronger round start from Lucy.
Oh, alright, there. So it looks like Lucy decides to activate Moon Drive, so does Lunar. Spend some meter just to keep pressure full screen. But Lunar is does not have the life lead, so they have to go in there. And they get hit by 2A for trying to aggress too hard.
Yeah, that 2A is a really good opener. It's usually a faster move on whatever character you pick. Okay, the whole thing was blocked, and the DP does get activated. And then you have an EX in the air from Lunar.
Oof. All right, Lucy down backing, not making any sort of reversal, just waiting for Lunar to make a mistake. Because she knows if she gets hit anytime here, it could be the end of the round because the next mix-up will end. Ooh. All right, shield the EX spears, no confirm after.
Yep.
You can see both of them just like, waiting, but Lucy gets an air dash jump C on the low shield.
Yeah, so when you shield, you commit to whatever stance you're in. So if you shield low and it comes in high, you're getting hit.
Oops.
So there was the A counter to get the launcher, but didn't really get to follow up on it.
Alright, it looks like Lucy, is just trying to retreat so she doesn't have to interact with Lunar mid-screen. However, she decides to shield.
Ooh, that was a sandwich there with the lightning.
Ooh, I see. She takes a turn back, gets a 2B during that scramble.
Just goes ahead, goes with, hard knockdown. Takes a tiny chip of damage as Lucy, and we do get the Moondrive activation there just to stop the clock a tiny bit, and that actually gave Lunar the opening that they needed to start this combo. Gets hit by the bubbles, and now Lucy is stuck. Well, actually, no. Lunar put themselves in the corner.
Yeah, it looked like they were trying to get some sort of mix-up, and it didn't work. Oh no, DP, EX Lightning. Should get an air throw here. Alright, let's screen it. Pressure, Moondrive to see a response from Lunar, nothing. And if Lucy can get this round, she'll advance on into the bracket, but Lunar is one hit away from evening it up in rounds. Good defense.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure from Lucy, but Lunar got just cracked open, and that's going to go ahead and give another one to Lucy.
Yep, so Lucy takes the set 2-0. And since it's winner semifinals, each game will be 2 out of 3. So winners, semis, losers, quarters, losers, semifinals will be 2 out of 3 until you get to winners, finals, losers, finals, and grand finals, which would be 3 out of 5. So you will have more games coming up later in the tournament, but right now we're just gonna, do the tournament standard, 2 out of 3 for right now. And then each player has to, be able to adjust quickly if they lose the first game. So good stuff to Lucy. She moves on to winners finals of the bracket. And coming up next, we will be seeing Masoma versus Blooming Lotus.
This is, I mentioned it before. I love love, and so I'm always excited to see what Masoma brings to the table. I was actually watching his stream a couple nights ago in preparation for this tournament, seeing what they did. They were playing another high-level player, just watching the way that they chose to mix up. Masoma does a lot of the double down A, B, or C, which is if he hasn't lost a life, it's the fire that's on the ground or the ice that's on the ground. And the zoning that he does is so incredible. And the way that he's able to just keep his opponent on the ground in its entirety is incredible to watch.
That's because a lot of people respect the way that Masoma plays, so they don't want to be too aggressive. But right now, we're going to go back to a quick replay of what we watched earlier. So hopefully we get to pinpoint some of the action between Lunar and Lucy. Alright, so this was the end of the second round, and you can see Lucy, she was just trying to hover around, not get hit, and managed to snipe Lunar at the end of that round. Lunar was being kind of desperate because he realized, oh no, I don't have a lot of life left here. And this is still first game, third round. Yep, and there's the Moondrive to see what Lunar was doing there. Saw the backdash, just did the ground lightning again. And then in game 2, you can see more of Lucy being able to move around freely in the screen, not have to worry about Lunar's full screen projectiles, just be able to approach constantly. And then right there, game 2, round 2, Lucy was doing a really good job of making it so that Lunar would have to either constantly be moving on the screen, like backdashing, double jumping, or Lunar would have to use more projectiles that can get contested by Roa's not full screen projectiles. Well, it's lightning. I don't know if you count lightning as projectile, but you get the idea.
Right. I think that Lucy did a really good job reading all of the situations that Lunar brought in and was really able, like you pointed out, to mix up the approaches so that Lunar didn't really get a good handle on where Lucy was going to be coming from at any point in any of those games.
Yep. It's a lot of people think that fighting Dead Apostle Noel gets harder the slower your character is, but it really depends on how you view her game plan. If you know what she's doing at the start, if she's trying to gain meter, if she's trying to just throw her spears at you, if she's trying to be super aggressive and air dash at you, because she has the fastest air dash and the fastest run in the game, so she can traverse the screen really quickly. So if you're not ready, she's just making sure that your life is living hell. You're always like, I can't jump here, I can't shield, I can't press a button, what do I do? But as you saw in the last game, Lucy was ready for all of that, and that's why she advanced into winners finals.
And if I had to guess, Blooming Lotus is also going to be playing DA Noelle. So the things that you just saw in the previous match still apply here. So one thing about DA Noelle is that a lot of her moves, like with the spears that go either diagonally across the screen or just horizontally, there's usually a follow-up. So some of DA Noelle's combos do have a dash attached to them, so she can close gaps incredibly quickly, and that can be really scary for characters who, like Vlav, want to zone you out.
You're right, correct. And Vlav is one of those characters that everyone just says, oh, he just does full screen projectiles and anti-air, and I also cannot approach another character. What are they doing? Why are they making all these characters? But fighting, there is a video out there about how to fight Vlav specifically. It is before the recent changes of the April 2022 patch, but it's still almost everything applies outside of one or two of the system changes. You still have to neutral jump to approach him to make sure that you can see which fireball he throws, which projectile he uses, and also how he jumps on the screen, because he's also not a very fast character, but his air dash is still one of the ones similar to Dead Apostle Noelle, to Roa, where they have the linear air dash. They go in like a straight line instead of a curve, like go all the way up and then fall down like a rock. They don't have that. So it sometimes is hard to fight Vlav because you're like, oh, he's a big guy, he's throwing projectiles, he should be slow. And then all of a sudden he's mid-screen and you're like, wait, that doesn't feel right.
That doesn't feel right or good. Yeah. The other thing about Vlav is he's the tallest character in the game.
Yes.
So there are some things that you can hit him with that are going to go over other characters, which can be really helpful for some projectiles and things like that. Like you can definitely catch him if you're falling from the air and you haven't used up your other air action to just clock him, which makes it, a dangerous matchup against a lot of characters who like to use the air, like DA Noelle, who has a lot of air movements, or, characters like Alco, who also has, full screen lasers, counter full screen with full screen.
Yeah. Alco is, a returning character from the previous version of Melty Blood. Everyone was just like, when is she coming back? When can I play the sick character who throws beams and shoots orbs at me full screen? But she was implemented very well in this version. She maintains, I would say, about 80 to 70% of her original moveset. It's just that they didn't one-to-one everything, so she's not as fast or as mobile as she used to be, even though she still retained her double air dash, her triple jump. She's the only character to have those two things, which is like, it's kind of wild if you think about it, to have an extra jump and an extra air dash, because it means you have two more movement options that a lot of the cast don't have. So your approach in the air becomes very tricky, because people are just like, oh, you jumped twice, that means you're gonna land here. But then she jumps again, you're like, wait a minute, I didn't account for that.
Yeah, and very similar to a lot of other fighting games, you have two air actions, so when you use those up, you're vulnerable until you hit the ground. So if you don't know that, like you said, Alco has 3 air actions, and you're like, oh, she's used her 2, and you go in to make a decision, then you could be in some serious trouble.
Yes. Also, she has, similar to Vlav, full screen projectiles. She has orbs that can sit on the screen. One of them can be held with a button. Another one kind of activates when the opponent is in proximity of the orb. So even though you worry about the full screen lasers, you still have to worry about the orbs in front of you, because you'll look at it and you're like, I can't tell if she's manually holding that or if it's going to blow up if I run into it. So as you get better and you play more, you'll see how Alcos make sure you can't just approach for free, even though she's not throwing lasers at you forever. But we'll get into the game right now.
Yeah, so it is going to be Alco versus Vlav. So I know Blooming Lotus likes to change characters depending on who they're fighting against. So
Yes.
that's a really... The thing about Alco, she might have lasers, but her close pressure is really oppressive.
Oh, Masoma tried to jump there, got hit by the overhead and the orb at the same time, so Lumina Lotus, they get it confirmed. And you can see Masoma just holding down back. There's a shield, they both press BC after. Masoma presses Moondrive to stay safe. Rambo Masoma with his button and Blooming Lotus fell out of the jump A. Now it's not over.
Yeah, oh, just throw him twice. Goodness, that was as close to a perfect as I've seen in a while.
So
I like this, this pre-round movement, how they both decided to just run at each other, and then once again, Blooming Lotus, their close pressure is so insane right now. Gets shielded, but now Masoma finally gets a turn. There's the bread and butter combo, goes ahead and is going to spend the meter, and then, like I said, with that hard knockdown, he likes to charge the moon engage, and then activated moon drive, but unfortunately, Blooming Lotus was committed, and Masoma's taken a lot of damage.
Yeah, Masoma tried to activate moon drive to be safe, and try to press buttons on the jumping shield, but the orb said you cannot do that. Alright, so last exchange. Okay, there's a blade from Masoma, getting his life back. Uh-oh. Jumped in, didn't get a clean hit, so now he has to block it out. Oh. Alright, drops his combo, it's okay. Just gonna try to make sure he doesn't eat any more damage full screen.
Oh, he almost did, though. That was looking a little scary. So now they're just they're just throwing things at each other, seeing what sticks, and Blooming Lotus is able to get a good laser in there. Masoma's ice, I said all these double downs was something he was known for. He finally got one. He went into 2 different double downs, which you can chain, and then went in and hit with that 3C or 2C, which reaches so far.
I got hit by the last portion of that Rekka. It is a grab and it is air waffle, so if you're not ready, you will get hit, just like how Blooming Lotus got hit by that jump C there. Let's see if someone decides to spend some meter. He does. Small charts to see what Blooming Lotus does. Oh, that's dagger pressure, making it so that Blooming Lotus cannot press buttons at will.
Okay, jump. I like that when Masoma gets those grabs in the air, he chooses to jump just to see what the incoming is. Does get hit by Blooming Lotus there, and orbs came out, but a really nice tech after the moon drive activation there.
And as you saw, even though Blooming Lotus was holding low shield there, it looked like they let go at the last second and got hit by Vlav 2C. So usually if you're going to commit to holding low shield or shield of any kind, it's usually better to just hold it the whole way, because if you let go, that is one of the downsides to using shield. You are in more recovery, so you are prone to being hit, so you can't press the shield button and immediately block. You have a couple of frames where you can get hit for free, and that gets bigger the less moon gauge you have. So that circle that's that's right below the character portrait, if there's no yellow moon slices in there, if it's empty and you press shield, you have a longer amount of time to recover than if it was full.
It's just another thing in the game that you need to keep up with, not just for yourself, but for your opponent, because if they don't have any moon gauge and they go into shield, you have an eternity to make a decision on what you're going to do to follow that up. And there's a lot of things in this game to keep track of, and if you're not, you can risk an entire set on those, just on resources.
Yes, and honestly, decision making at highest level of play is one of the reasons why a lot of players make it seem like they're so dominant, because they know what they want to do with the resources at that exact moment, or how to respond when someone else uses their resources. So it looks like
Yeah, and
it looks like Blooming Lotus was going to switch characters, but they're sticking with Alka.
I mean, I don't think it went badly for Blooming Lotus. I think it was a really good set. It was just Masoma got more reads right.
Oops. Alright, so gets a full screen laser confirmed. Masoma manages to retreat, gets tagged in the air. Forward throw, orb set.
Okay, yeah.
There's the high shield to BC from Masoma.
Goes ahead. Yeah, Masoma chooses to just go with the 1 bar. I mean, Masoma likes to keep at least a bar of Magic Circuit in their pocket just so that they can get a good knockdown ender for a lot of different things. But this is another strong start for Blooming Lotus. It's very similar to what we saw in the first round of the first game. Ooh, the shield counter didn't quite work out for Masoma.
Alright, so now Blooming Lotus manages to keep Masoma in the corner with the forward throw, and Masoma looked like he was trying to press something like, please get me out of this corner, I don't want to block anymore, but he got hit and lost around anyway. Alright, so we're back to this full screen vlog pressure, except Alko is one of those characters who doesn't have that hard of a time moving across the screen. She's also pretty fast.
She is fast. I like the orb behind Masoma, but gets opened up with the overhead. This is going to be a pretty hefty combo. Yeah, there was EX to go ahead and finish that out. Oh, and the orb, even after the Moondrive activation, did catch Masoma, but now it's his turn, goes ahead and spends one, and then a really nice safe heat activation.
Yes, there are combos in this game that let you activate heat safely, and those are the best ways to avoid getting it baited. Overhead, so it's almost trying to get back into this game right now. Oh, nice hits. You see how he's staggering his pressure overhead? Round might be over. It's close.
It's very, very close. Oh, that was a really nice way to go ahead and use the launcher shield, but nothing comes after it, just waiting, and then a good throw. This could be the opening for Blooming Lotus, but another shield. The launcher did not work out for Masoma. This is actually huge.
Drop combo from Blooming Lotus would have been close. There's the Moondrive activation. Let's see if Lotus decides to use a Moon Scale, low shield. And Masoma's just like, please stay over there, but then he has to remember that Alpha can do that.
Yeah, so now they're both completely out of Moondrive, and then just Blooming Lotus goes ahead and ran in and kicked the feet out from Masoma.
I'm really curious as to what Masoma was doing there, because there's no real chance to like reversal because there's a lot of blocks done, and Valve does not have a invincible meterless reversal. Like, he has to spend meter if he wants to do something where he can't be hit, but it looked like Masoma was just like, please, I don't want to block anymore. It's my turn.
Yeah, that is actually one of the disadvantages of playing Valve, that he does not have a meterless reversal. He has to spend resources if he wants to get out of a situation.
And we're back in this corner again. Masoma activates Moondrive to stay safe. Doesn't get the confirm after the clean hit. Once again, back in this corner, BC from both players. And you can see how Masoma's trying to get to that spot that's full screen away from Alpha. And then he can change his approach immediately with that super count.
Yeah, that was a really nice way to jump over the laser. And because Blooming Lotus was just in recovery that entire time, was able to get a decent combo off and uses the back BC, or the back BC to get in with that huge sword clonk.
Alright, dash up pressure. You can see Blooming Lotus now being a little bit more defensive, not wanting to press the button wildly. Masoma doing a really good job. Gets hit out of the air. Blooming Lotus still looking okay so far. If they can get a hit, they might be able to get their life back, but Masoma's just making sure that doesn't happen. Oh no! And you could see that after that shield, Blooming Lotus tried to press 2A, but because of their recovery, they got counter hits. So Masoma on match point?
Yeah, Masoma on match point, but Blooming Lotus is really trying not to let this go. I mean, I wouldn't either. I'd want to stay in winners too. But a good throw now puts Masoma into the corner. That orb is behind, so Masoma has to be careful about what they're doing. Oh, I grabbed you back, and now you're in the corner.
Moondrive
Do it again.
Grabbed again. Yep. That's one of the better responses for when someone activates, you just throw them. The only way to escape that is to jump, and you have to do it immediately. Somehow Masoma got himself put into the corner, but it's okay. Oh, because he's a Melty player. He can press 2A at any given moment.
Any given moment. I mean, Valve's A buttons are actually very short range, so to be able to be that close to Blooming Lotus to get that was pretty impressive. But now, God, the life is so even, and just throw him to death. I feel like that was the battle of the throws.
Yes, throw is very strong in this game because you cannot react to them. You kind of have to guess or use options to make it so that you don't have to guess. But right now, Masoma activated Moondrive. He gets a clean hit, spends meter. Should get a mix-up here. Air dash back, very nice. BC. Oh no, got hit by the Rekka, but no confirm. Shield, BC, nice. Blooming Lotus gets the hit, they get their turn back. But they dropped the confirm? That looked kind of awkward.
It did. I actually kind of like the idea of the delay wake up from Masoma. He didn't tech immediately just to sort of see what Blooming Lotus was going to set up if there was an orb or something. There's a lot of meter on the table for both players right now. Gets the hit, doesn't get anything after that jump. Moondrive from Moondrive activation. They clash in the air. God, this is intense.
Oh no. Masoma lifts his Rekka and gets hit from behind. So let's see what Blooming Lotus tries to do. Set up an orb.
Oh
my god.
No.
Wait, this might be the end of the round?
It really could be. Is there enough EX yet? No, he's alive? No, he's dead. Jeez.
Blooming Lotus actually could have did a better combo that just uses all 3 bars at once. But it didn't matter. He used all 3 bars eventually, you know. Level 1, level 1, level 1. when you could just do a move that's called Arc Drive Super, uses 3 bars all at once, and it kind of does a lot of damage at once, but it doesn't, at a certain point, it kind of scales back. But
Right.
I thought that's what he was going to do, but it's okay. He was kind of showing off there, just like, all right, cool. I'm going to win this round, but I'm going to do it, like a cool person, like an explosion going off behind you, just walk away, you like don't look back. Kind of like that.
It was also really stressful though, because whereas, Arc Drive would have gone ahead and sealed the deal, there were a lot more points for Blooming Lotus to have dropped that combo.
Yeah.
I mean, he was really confident in his abilities, and that's awesome. But I was stressed during that. I feel like chat was also stressed. So let's go ahead and take a look at how Blooming Lotus was able to counter a lot of what Masoma did in those rounds, and it went really, really down to the wire.
All right, as you can see, Blooming Lotus managed to keep Masoma in the corner, and that's one of the strongest points about Alco, is those orbs. Since they can be let go at any point, if you try to hit her, they can explode at the same frame, and you can just get hit and lose. And right now, you see how Blooming Lotus's aggression is very on point for fighting someone like Masoma, because a lot of people have said Masoma has been known for trying to press buttons we're not allowed to, but when you want to be a good player, sometimes you just have to say, screw it, I don't need your permission to press buttons.
I like the way that you phrase that, because, sometimes you just have to stop being polite and respectful. Just let me push the buttons. There was that really interesting clash situation that led to both of them kind of scrambling, and Blooming Lotus honestly was the one who came out better because of the moves that they choose to use. The way that Masoma he did a second air action, and that's what ended up killing him. Because they both jumped, they had the clash, Masoma used another air action, and that gave Blooming Lotus the opportunity to just open him up on the minute he hit the ground. Yeah,
that last interaction before Blooming Lotus got that combo, unfortunately, Masoma tried to high shield and he lost because of it, because the resulting combo ended the round. But that was the winner side of the bracket, and we will be taking a look at the loser side of the bracket.
So now we're filling this out a little bit more. So Lucy and Blooming Lotus going to face off against each other. I like that I already see people hypothesizing in the chat, is Lucy going to stay with Roa, or is she going to go with Coma? What's going to happen? Because, it's a really reasonable question to ask at this point because of the matchup knowledge. So Lunar and Masoma not out of this yet, going to be wakening in the loser side of the bracket. But first we have to find out who wins against Wowza and Shinigami, and Tenshi versus Manly.
Yes, hopefully we get to see Shinigami play Tono, because I know a lot of people are just like, oh man, this is the MC of the game, well, of the series. And a lot of people say like he's not strong because, if you don't see him in top 8 or something, he must be weak, right? But that's not the case. A lot of people kind of shied away from him because they're like, oh, he's a protagonist, I don't want to play that, he might be boring. But then when you can see what he can do, you're just like, man, I should have been playing this guy a long time ago.
What's interesting, though, is that if Shinigami decides to play Tono, Wowza also plays Tono, so it'll be a mirror.
Yes, I know a lot of people will be excited for that, because they're just like, man, I love just doing jump C and 2C with Tono. He has a long leg, he hits very far, but he does have some really cool combos. He has good ways of fighting the whole cast, because he has a move, quarter circle forward, AB. He goes approximately half screen, a quarter of the screen, depending on which strength you use. It's air unblockable, it's very fast, and if you're not ready, he kind of just gets himself in, and you're like, wait, I thought I was safe, but now he's in my face, and now I have to guess between him doing a 2A or throwing me.
Yeah, Shiki when he's in your face is terrifying, and you have to be so careful on how you approach. And then in the mirror match, you have the added complexity of knowing that your opponent knows what you also have. Like, you don't have anything in addition. All you have are mind games at that point. So yes. It's the approach, it's the game plan, it's what moves do you decide to use when, it's when do you decide to use any of your meter and things like that. And just really a lot of it is trying to get ahead of the other tonal player.
I know a lot of people don't like mirror matches traditionally in fighting games over the last like 3 decades, and it's kind of strange, especially considering that if you are confident in your character, you should be able to see what they're doing and say, oh yeah, this person can't do that, I know the counterplay to this, or I know this doesn't work, or I know I can just reversal on this. So a lot of people have that mental block of they're playing my character, they must think they're better than me. I'll show them, and then you make decisions that you normally don't make for some reason. But it could, fighting games are mostly a mental thing, and then execution is later.
That is true. Yeah, I mean, there's only so much that you can learn in the lab. You can learn your combos, but it's totally different when you bring that against a real player, no matter if that's online or offline. It brings another layer of complexity into it. Like, even if you play against CPUs, like, there's a certain level where the CPU can read your inputs, and then you're not really getting efficient practice.
That's true. It's still good to do things like play against the CPU, even if you're like, I'm not going to get anything out of this. You might see some situations from the CPU you might not normally get while you're in training mode or in story mode or in arcade mode. It does help to vary how you practice when you want to play in tournaments. Because sometimes if you get a lot of stale situations, you don't feel motivated, you're just like, man, I'm not really getting anything out of this. But if you take a break, try to take inspiration from other people, ask questions, you'll get more and more ideas of what you can do when you play and how to improve.
And tournaments like this, both online and offline, are things that actually help people expand, their library of what they can do in a game. Because we're seeing, I mean, right now we get to see a specialization of the regions of the US just really get to show off what they can do. But when you watch these things, you can look at a player who plays your same character and be like, oh, I wasn't doing that thing. Why didn't I think about doing that thing? And then you can go back, you can lab it, and then you can try and incorporate it into your game plan. And then you can also see how players who are playing your character or not your character are approaching different situations against characters that you personally have a harder time getting in on.
Hopefully people in the future, they'll say like, okay, this is a mirror match. I will take, as you said, I will take away what they're doing in match to heart. I'll figure out how I can implement it. But then there still seems to be this mental block that occurs. Hopefully it's not they must think they're better than me, or they have to be better than me. More ideas are usually a good thing. But usually, I'm not saying all the time, usually they're a good thing. But as you progress as a player, you'll understand that there are people who are going to be better than you, because that's just the way some things are. Unless you're already the best, then go ahead, do what you want. I'm not gonna stop you.
Yeah, exactly. What am I gonna do? Nothing. Just keep learning. I think that's the biggest thing, is like, just keep learning, because that's gonna help everything, help your game plan. I know, like, personally, when I was playing a lot of fighting games trying to figure out how I wanted to improve, there was this moment where I was like, wait, the game is doing exactly what I tell it to do, so I have to be more specific with my inputs and more precise and more exact.
Yes. A lot of fighting games over the last 5 to 6 years have increased input buffers. So if you input something and the game says, oh, you have a few additional frames for this input, sometimes you don't get what you want because you did it too fast. You were thinking too far ahead of yourself. So usually it's better to try to be really precise, try to practice, okay, if I'm holding down back and I want a fireball, I have to make sure I don't get a command throw or a DP because of what the input is, depending on your character. Hopefully, in the future, more fighting games will go down the path of you can pick to use either or. You can use simple input, or you can do the complex input. And usually there's a benefit to one or the other. So if you do the simple input, it's because it's faster, but there's some sort of downside to it. Maybe it doesn't have more damage, it doesn't have invulnerability. And then you do the complex input, you have the damage, you have the invulnerability, but you have a higher chance of messing it up.
Right, and actually one thing that a lot of more recent fighting games have is that in training mode, you can turn on the inputs. So if you're struggling, say, with a half circle back and then a forward, and just half circle back and forward, and you're not getting some part of that, you can actually just go and record it and watch what your inputs are to see what's happening with that. And it's a good tool to be able to be like, oh, I'm missing, this downward angle, and that's why this isn't coming out.
Right. Right now, it seems we're waiting for the players to connect. So I think we might be taking a small break. Just need to get a confirmation to make sure. Okay, so it seems like we will be taking a very short break. Hello and welcome back to the official Melty Blood type Lumina tournament for the United States Central Region. I am Fox. I'm joined here this evening with...
Hey, I'm Jablin. I hope that you guys have been having as much fun as we have been having. We've been already through the first half of the bracket on the winner's side, with Lucy taking it over Lunar and Blooming Lotus taking it over Masoma. We've taken a look at the bracket right now. You can see all of that. We filled it out a little bit more, so Lunar and Masoma waiting there for the winner of Wowza versus Shinigami, which is what we're going to see next, which is most likely going to be a Tono mirror match, which we were covering right before this, and then Tenshi versus Manly.
Yes, and that match should be an Akia versus Powered CL match, I believe. I know a lot of people say that, man, I haven't seen Powered CL a lot in this game. How is she in her from a previous version? And hopefully you get to see Manly play that character, because I think she's really strong in this game. Her normals, a lot of her playstyle changed, but her game plan is still the same in making sure that you can't leave the corner in a lot of situations. Her buttons are really big, she does a lot of damage, and she has a lot of cool moves that either have armor or they like interact weirdly in a lot of ways. They pop you up into the air when you block it, or you kind of just can't interact with her in a couple situations, which makes her really strong. But I know a lot of people want to see more Powered CL. She's a cool character. She can kind of be weird to play at first because everything's not straightforward, but once you get the hang of her, she becomes one of the better characters in the game.
The most recent characters that were introduced to the game, Powered CL and Mario, are both very interesting in terms of the entire cast. So it's cool to see people already incorporating some of the more intricate things that they can do. So we are going to go ahead and get into this next one. This is Wowza versus Shinigami, and it is the Shiki Mirror.
Oh, this is Tono Mirror. All right, so let's see how many times both of these characters can press 236, 2C, jump C, 5C.
I love the Tono intro with just like, knife, let's go.
All right, so Shinigami on the left and Wowza on the right. Wowza with the default palette. Up, clean jump in from Wowza with the 2A. All right, air throw ender.
Yep.
So Shinigami trying to escape the corner, gets hit by 5C, nothing. Oh, good throw into the corner.
Yeah, thrown into the corner. We got the Moondrive. They just keep throwing each other into this corner. They're just trading that space. But the shield was countered there by Wowza. And look how much damage that Tono does so quickly. It's gonna get, that's it. Arc drive finish, you're done. Round over.
Important notes that Wowza now has an install, so he gains access to 3 additional moves, and that's only when you end the round in arc drive. You get to keep it into the next round. Oh, there was the charge unblockable attempt.
Okay, throw. I've never seen so many throws in a round in my life.
Tono is one of the characters that's really adept in forcing that situation, because he has a lot of buttons that move him forward, and oh my goodness. Enough of that. We just saw Wowza get to bait Shinigami's heat activation and should be able to end the round.
Yeah, it goes ahead and ends it. That was very fast. I mean, Melty Blood can be a very fast game anyway, but that was with a quickness, if you will.
Yes, it becomes very apparent when one of the players is better than the other based off of how quickly they make the decisions, how much damage they can do in a lot of given situations. And a lot of people are just like, man, this game really is that fast. It's like, yeah, it's over usually before you can grab a drink of water and come back.
It is. I mean, don't blink. It can be just done like that. So now Wowza, I mean, was playing confidently before, but now really just being very offensive. Shinigami does get an opening more than, honestly, they got in the entire first game. Ends it with the hard knockdown, but you get the Moondrive to see what's going on, and then you get the DP to go ahead and kick him. And, oh my god, so many activations.
Shinigami could have just pressed shield after activating Moondrive and punished, but it looks like they were trying to do something else. So Wowza gets an EX. Doesn't get the air throw ender, but still looking good this round so far. Oh, was probably waiting for that activation there. Uh-oh. Double jump? No, you cannot shield that in the air. You have to just jump away from it.
Yeah, but, you know, unfortunately for Shinigami, there was enough health on Wowza that didn't kill. One combo, one touch afterwards did, but that was still heavily in Wowza's favor until the very end.
Yes, Wowza was doing okay till they made one wrong decision, but it looks like that last round did not affect him at all. No. They're going right back in. Oh, they choose to spend 3 bars there. Try to widen the life. Oh, the life lead. Tries to get a little bit tricky there with the 2-2A.
Yeah, I like the use of Arc Drive there because it took so much recoverable health off the table for Shinigami. And this is, well, he's going to get a bar at the very end. If he needed to close it out with a bar of meter, he could have, but Wowza went ahead and just closed it out with a really solid combo.
All right, so Wowza on match point. Wow, that's the first air tech I've seen in this game in a little while, like maybe 2 months, but good awareness from both players.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of backdashing from Tono players because they get extra moves afterwards, but goes right through. No, now we're back to neutral. Oh man, I was holding my breath. I thought there was going to be so much more after that.
Ooh. All right, so Wowza gets a confirmed, drops it though. Still looking pretty good this round. Shinigami trying to keep their turn. Oh god.
So we've got heat for blood heat. Blood heat I want to talk about a little bit after this, but it's over now. Wowza still with a significant life lead. The overhead opens up Shinigami. We gotta knock down the Moondrive activation, but great blocking from Wowza.
Oh, and then just reversal DP. DP again, activate Moondrive, little shield punish. Very good from Wowza. That sequence there is the prime example of how to use Moondrive versus someone else's Moondrive. So good stuff to Wowza. They will move on to the bracket. And hopefully we can see a replay of how that last set went.
Yeah, especially, I mean, that was fast. That was really fast. Even by Melty standards, that was fast. But really good stuff to Wowza. He was like, I have places to be. It's further in the bracket. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be moving on into, I think it's supposed to be losers quarters, but the replay is ready and we'll go back to what we just saw.
So this is the first set that they were playing. There was that Arc Drive finish that we were talking about earlier, and how nicely that closed out. I mean, that's a really huge portion of Shinigami's health.
And then, as you saw that ADP into Moondrive activation to see that Shinigami was activating Blood Heat to try to get their turn back, and then the resulting combo, even though the hit counter is great, it meant that Shinigami could attack, but they just didn't. So, game 2, Wowza still looking pretty impressive.
Wowza was just always one step ahead of what Shinigami wanted to do with the throws. Right there was like the one time that Shinigami got to play the video game.
And even then it was kind of like a big bet with that super because it uses up 3 bars and then you have to hope it hits or else you just kind of wasted meter for nothing. And the good movement from Wowza, they have to double jump over and get a clean jump in after the low sweep. And there's the Moondrive. Oh! And I believe in this extension here, yes, the low shield. And as you saw right there, when Shinigami clashed during the moon skill, that blue move that, when Wowza clashed with the moon skill that Shinigami was doing, you can activate Moondrive during that clash if you have it, and you can tap the shield button, and you get a guaranteed punish on that no matter what. That's one of the few instances where shield guarantees you something in this game as opposed to also when you shield their heat. Outside of that, shield becomes this, hey, I need to interact again, or I can choose not to interact by just not doing anything and backing away. But a lot of the counterplay in this game turns into, all right, how can I beat their heat? How can I bait out their Moondrive? Or if I force a clash, what do I do afterwards? So a lot of the gameplay revolves around making sure you don't guess wrong in those interactions. Like, as you stated earlier with Blood Heat, that's one of the things you don't want to ever interact with because it does cost a large swing if you get to shield somebody. You get access to the last arc, and you do roughly 50% minimum of their life in that one interaction.
Right. I'm glad that we covered that because if you've noticed and you're not familiar with the game, after you lose a round, you get an extra bar of Magic Circuit. So you start with 3 on both sides, and then if you lose a round, you get 4. So you have to have all 4 bars of your Magic Circuit in order to activate your Blood Heat. And there's 2 different ways, to activate your Blood Heat, but there's also 2 different ways to activate your last arc. So you can go into Blood Heat and shield, and if somebody goes into that shield, you get the move, it comes out, and you do roughly 50% of somebody's damage, or health and damage. But you can also just hit ABCD and bring out last arc. That's really, really risky, but I've seen it done before.
Yeah, a lot of people, when they activate heat and get Blood Heat, they tend to just say, okay, I'm just gonna run at you now because this thing is scary if you guess wrong. But a lot of people are just willing to throw you when you're in Blood Heat because throws it cannot be shielded, so you don't have to worry about that at all.
Right, and if you can wait out Blood Heat, especially, you know, a lot of the times the opponent with Blood Heat is going to shield. You run up and throw them, that wastes so much of that time.
Yes. If you also don't know, if you try to shield and you get thrown, you eat extra damage. So a throw does roughly 1500 damage. If you try to shield and you get thrown during the shield, you take an extra roughly 350 damage. So if you keep trying to shield and they keep throwing you, you will end up dying a lot quicker than you normally would if you were just trying to look out for the throw.
It's really specific knowledge checks like that bring these players like we're seeing in the top 8 to another level. Like if you're aware of the fact that you're going to take extra damage while you're shielding and you get thrown, then you're going to be a lot choosier about when you do that, especially, you know, depending on how much health you have left in a game. It makes it much riskier to shield, which is a core mechanic in the gameplay.
Yes. A lot of people would also say that, oh, then I could just, you know, tactic throw. I could, you know, make sure I don't get thrown at all. But the window for that is very small comparatively to other games, and it's akin to more of a guess, because there is a set distance where you are forced to run if you're not next to your opponent. So if they space you out and they try to guess that you're going to throw, you will run up a little bit and then you'll get hit by their resulting attack if they spaced it correctly. So a lot of people will try to like walk back, press 2A, and if they know you're going to try to wake up throw, they'll just counter hit you and do the same situation over and over again until you have another response or willing to block out their pressure.
It's one of the things that I think that's so cool about this game, how many different options you have in neutral to open up your opponent, because every character brings something different to the table, but then you have these core game mechanics that everybody has access to, and the way that you can manipulate them based on who you're playing against or what character you're playing is so cool to see.
Yes, it's all the mechanics in the game, they work together in a very nice way to make it so that there isn't too many things that you're not familiar with. So each mechanic works with each other, and then they can work against each other if you're knowledgeable of how a lot of players want to use them. But we're going into the next match right now. It should be Tenshi versus Manly FTC.
Yeah, and so we are going to see regular CL. I know that Manly trains with a powered CL player, so I'm very interested to see how this goes down. And Tenshi does bring out the Akia.
So typically, regular CL, she has access to those knives that you see, and she can also sort of control full screen by throwing them and forcing you to either block them or shield them to get across the screen.
So right now, Manly is very quickly opening up Tenshi. Okay, does choose to go ahead and heat, and now Tenshi finally gets to play, setting up a lot of the different openers there with Akia, but another heat in response to just get some spacing. The DP whips. This is going to be a big opportunity for Tenshi. As he just go ahead, gets the throw. Does not choose to set up a wheel. We did get a tech in there though.
And Tenshi tried to activate Moondrive to see what's happening, but got hit by the falling jump B. Throws a low shield. Alright, that is the high ring. Ooh. Confirm after, yes. After Moonskill DP, if it hits from Akiha, you can air dash to move, and then Tenshi chose to use EX ring there to get a confirm after. So it's very good on Tenshi's part that he's ready to just kind of bust that out to make sure he's gonna get his turn. But right now he's blocking in the corner, he gets Demon Foot grab. TG. Text out of the corner. Save.
There was a lot of clash there. But there, the heat was blocked, so this is a big opener for Manly again. Shield, the B counter, so went behind, got the kick, but now Tenshi has the opportunity in the corner. They're just jumping at each other a lot, which honestly, it's fine. The wheel does come out, but we get a little bit of charge trying to get... Oh, we're just going to charge each other. Great, and run.
Alright, throws the high shield. Ooh, nice. Tenshi using the subsequent wheels to fake out the shield attempt. Immediate heat from Manly. And you can see Tenshi trying to get another clean hit in somehow, but you have to worry about blocking CL knives. There's Moondrive.
Ooh, big throw.
Tenshi doesn't want to try to heat from there because it can be baited.
Oh, that was an opportunity just because the CLDP takes so long to recover from, but just catches him in the air. That was very scrambly, honestly.
Yes, that's another one of the aspects that happen a lot in this game. Because you are fighting in the air so often, you're trying to vie for space constantly with your jump normals or special moves.
Nice opener from Tenshi, good combo, gets the wheel at the end as well. Trying to go in with a 2A from Manly, but doesn't really get anything off of it. Does throw there from Tenshi just to keep the corner pressure and does get a heat activation, but it's still Tenshi's turn.
Alright, Tenshi's gonna punish that falling shield attempt and uses arc drive. It might be the end of the round. Oh my god.
Oh wow, a sliver, the pixel.
Alright, staggering with 2A, trying to see if Matt move. Oh, there's a knife, doesn't get punished for it. And you can see Manly trying to get that one bar. Yes, press heat, get some life back. But there's a Moondrive activation. Manly's still in high danger of eating a throw, dying.
That was quite a lot of damage coming in there, but then also to have the grab there at the end, it was a really good choice from Tenshi to be able to grab and then throw to just go ahead and end the round. But whew, we're getting right back into it. Tenshi takes the first one. Manly had some really good options in the first round, using a lot of charge. Oh, and catches Tenshi's charge, gets a big opener, and does a little jump crossover to go ahead. Like, Tenshi didn't know where Manly was on the screen at that point and blocked wrong. Big opener.
Alright, throw lifts. Tenshi gets his turn back. Oh, just immediate flashing from Manly, just trying to keep the pace, not let Tenshi get anything started. And immediate hit from Tenshi, trying to make sure he stays at a healthy life total right now. Ooh, gets punished for throwing that wheel too high, and he had landing recovery that got punished.
Goes ahead for the throw into the corner. The shield gets blocked, and then the Moondrive and the activation in the corner, but unfortunately got caught. Oh, that's gonna end it. See ya.
Very nice for Manly, just being a little bit more aggressive than he normally was that round, just to make sure that he throws off Tenshi's approach. And immediately starting the round with 5A, but gets hit by the B vanish after shield. And because Manly picked shield immediately after, he got hit in the back of the head. Now in the corner, immediate heat. Just doesn't want to have to block anything in the corners, like, give me space, get away from me.
No real follow-up after that B counter from Tenshi, and then the DP does actually hit. Manly is committing to a lot of shields, and it's getting him in trouble, so hopefully he figures that out shortly. But Tenshi is now able to carry all the way into the corner with Akia, gets a good wheel setup, then gets the launcher activation and the throw at the end.
Oh, text the throw from Manly. DC, ooh, late follow from Manly, so he doesn't keep his turn, but Tenshi has the larger life lead, but is stuck in the corner. Activates Moondrive again. Manly trying to keep pressure. Demon Foot grab, no combo.
No, you can get a good combo off of that too. I'm surprised that he chose not to do it.
Up punishes. Yep. The whiffed EX dive from the air, and that should be the round. So, Tenshi 1 round away from advancing in bracket.
Yeah, I would like to see less commitment to shield from Manly in this round, because that really got him in a lot of trouble. Oh, I like the use of the nails in the air, though, to get around the wheel. Sorry, that was just really funny how long Manly decided to throw after that.
Ooh, alright, tries to use the moon skill to get out of pressure there. Tenshi gets the clean 5C hit. Goes for a reset, yeah. But doesn't get the confirm right after, unfortunately. And now both players are just kind of taking it slow now, trying to process what just happened this round.
More charge again, because Manly is not doing well on the moon gauge. Does manage to get a cross up, gets a combo, can choose to end this with an EX, and does manage to kill. So we do have a 1-1 situation. It's the first time we've had this in a bit.
So Manly played a lot better that last round. They did stop trying to be so aggressive with shields. They tried to just neutralize Tenshi's approach with knives and flash kick to make it hard. But I also did see Tenshi drop a few inputs here and there, so hopefully he can clean those up.
another strong opener there from Manly. He does, I mean, CL does really, really well in the air and is able to cover a lot of the screen. They did get a BC counter equally on the shield, that's why they went opposite directions, but now, because of that exchange, Tenshi is able to do a lot of damage here in the corner. And another heat, I feel like that's how Manly responds to every time they're in the corner, and Tenshi is adjusting for that.
Ooh, alright, Charged MC gets a clean hit. Should be able to end the round, but this next situation is a guess for game type, just a two-way throw, classic tick throw setup.
Alright, so Tenshi now run round away from knocking Manly out of this tournament. And man, Manly's kind of playing like it too. They're doing a lot more throws, just trying to keep Tenshi away. Does get a nice strong opener there, uses a bar to go ahead and knock her down. But then again, committing to the shield, but that time it actually worked in their favor.
Activate Moon Drive from Tenshi, doesn't get a confirm off the whiff flash kick, but goes for another reset. That's the third time that's worked so far, I believe. Alright, spin the bar. Alright, wheel in front, immediate wake up P from Manly. Doesn't want to have to block any of that pressure. And now Tenshi needs to be a little careful because if he gets hit by anything silly, he will lose a lot of his lead. Oh, and right as I said that.
I know, I was like, that was it. That was the silly. And this is that. I mean, that's a lot of health. And Tenshi has no magic circuit to counter that. You've just got to hold all this damage. And there's another heat from Manly and goes out and opens it up with a quick 2A low. Tenshi just got that bar as they died.
Alright, so Tenshi now has 2 bars, and this is the last round for both players. Winner of this will move on. Manly playing a little bit better. Gets the clean confirm after the flash kick. Very nice. Ooh. Activates Moon Drive, tries to keep his turn, make it so that Tenshi cannot get out this corner easily. Alright, double snap combo. Dropped though. This is Tenshi's chance.
Yeah, this combo is decently long, but Tenshi has shown over and over again that they really have it. Side switch, and that time they shielded the immediate heat, the thing that Manly has been doing like on wake up every time to avoid incoming damage. Tenshi didn't get as much out of that as I would have liked to see, but Manly is honestly the one in the better position right now.
Tenshi is, okay, alright, decides to force his turn with the EX wheel, gets a double overhead, might spin meter again.
Yep, does choose to spend the meter.
Manly has no heat, tries to throw, gets hit standing, and that's the end of the round.
Oh, they got heat right in the middle of them getting hit. There was no opportunity for them to recover. Manly was definitely using that heat a lot to just stop Tenshi from coming in and stop that incoming pressure. But as we went through those rounds, Tenshi started adjusting and making accounting for that, so that he would shield some of it, he would block some of it, and then all of a sudden, this tool that was getting a lot of advantages for Manly was being shut down and giving Tenshi all the advantage.
Yes, you could see that when Manly was trying to throw out more knives mid-screen and higher in the air, Tenshi was having a harder time deciding to either get out of the way, shield it, or just straight up block it. And sometimes it's better to just try not to be in the space of the knife. So if they're going horizontally across the screen, you could just neutral jump and not have to block a set of knives. But if you're willing to stand, shield the knives, and she just decides to approach, you could just be standing there shielding full screen while she dashes all the way up and tries to throw you.
Exactly, and let's take a look a little bit more closely at that with this recap. So things that I want people to be looking out for are the number of times that Manly uses that heat activation, and some of the times that he uses shield, and then how Tenshi adjusts for it.
So in this round, we already see that he's just throwing out more knives there, and then Manly is willing to just immediately try to heat as soon as they are at a deficit, either on the screen or in their life bar. And they're trying to use some of their movement to make it so it's hard for Tenshi to pin them down, but Tenshi is also really good at making sure that, unfortunately, not getting hit by knives like he did right there.
Right.
They can't all be top tier defense. Sometimes you will get hit. It does happen, and like right there. But because of that drop from Manly, Tenshi was able to take that round with the small confirm there. And then in this round here, you can see Manly already popped heat, then you use Moon Drive to get underneath Tenshi on the other side to get a confirm and punish the with the ring. Lastly here, you saw Manly try to probably press a button or throw, and that's why Tenshi was able to do air dash, jump B to get the counter hit and end the round.
It was really good gameplay from both of them. There was one round that seemed very scrambly, like they both couldn't quite figure out where to put their neutral and where their footing was going to be. But as it went on, Tenshi really did show that he was making more adjustments much more quickly throughout that. So that is going to solidify a little bit more of this bracket. And let's take a look at that right now. So that means that Wowza is going to face Lunar and Tenshi is going to face Masoma. The Tenshi-Masoma matchup is definitely the one I'm the most curious about.
Yes, because I do believe that Tenshi doesn't like playing against Vlov, and he believes that Vlov versus Akia is a bad matchup for Akia because her movement isn't as good as it could be. She has to commit a lot harder mid-screen, like she has to jump, super jump, full screen to try to approach the fireballs, and her buttons are not as big as they could be to contest them as well.
Yeah, so now, I mean, we started with 8, we're down to 6. We are going to take a short break after this, but when we come back, we're going to jump into the winners finals. So as a reminder, winners finals will be a 3 out of 5. It's been 2 out of 3 up to this point, but that means we get more Melty Blood, which always makes me happy.
Yes, so don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back. welcome back to the Melty Blood Type Lumina official tournament for US Central. I'm joined here with Jaden today.
Yeah, thanks, Fox. I've been having so much fun. I'm not gonna lie, this is great. But thank you, I want to say before we get into anything else, thank you to Eliphant for hosting all of this, the amazing crew that we've been working with for the past couple of weeks leading up to this. They've just been so awesome to work with, and thank you for hosting this tournament. You can't hear it, but we can. They just went all excited in our ears, so that was really fun. And again, also thanks to Mike Ross for letting us be here on his channel. So, you know, give all of them some love. They create some really great content.
Yes, Mike Ross is the homie. Thank you for reaching out to everyone and helping organize all this. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and we also wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Eliphant. And also thank you to French Bread for agreeing to do this, because honestly, I wasn't expecting them to say, okay, there should be a US qualifier and multiple regions. So many thanks to all of them out there, and hopefully we get to see some more action in the rest of the qualifiers this year. And yeah, hopefully we can see you soon, like the rest of the qualifiers that are coming up, and we'll get to that later. But right now, we are going to progress with the rest of our losers bracket with Lunar versus Wowza. I don't know why it said Wowza right there for a second. It's just Wowza.
Yeah, so we're going to start with Lunar versus Wowza, and then go to Masoma versus Tenshi. And after that, we will go head into the winners finals, which is Lucy versus Blooming Lotus. So coming up, Lunar versus Wowza. Wowza definitely had the fastest set that we've seen today, and probably one of the fastest Melty Blood sets ever. Like, I wish that this was in the West qualifier, just because we could make like jokes about the fastest set in the West, but we can't. We're in the Central.
Well, we could do that hopefully in the West Coast qualifier, but right now, Lunar and Wowza, Dead Apostle Noel versus Tono. I know a lot of people still have the same gripes about fighting Dead Apostle Noel. She's faster than you. She has full screen control. She also has some setups that make it really hard to block. And hopefully we can see that coming up right now. Both of our players are already in the room.
Yeah, we're ready. Oh, Wowza changed colors again. Wowza just loves playing with different colors, which I like too. It makes him very distinct.
Oh, all right, trade. Not too bad for both players. They have about the same amount of life.
Yeah.
You can see. Oh my God, Wowza was trying to get past the spears there, but he gets hit by DP anyway.
Yeah, I like the way that Wowza is choosing like not to commit in the air. Like it does, if he doesn't see Lunar do anything, he doesn't go in for a jump. But finally gets an opening where Lunar was kind of just chipping away. Wowza takes a whole chunk.
All right, air throw ender, and that's a large amount of damage coming out of Tono. That's one of the reasons why he's touted as a very strong character. His average damage is higher than most of the cast, but it doesn't matter when you get hit by a B-Vanish there.
Yeah, and there's all of the different dashes that we highlighted the first time we saw DA Noel on screen. With it, so she has a follow-up there, and then again, her dash is just so fast. She's gliding.
Yes, look at that. She traverses the screen in less than a second, but it doesn't matter how you also move across the screen, because you don't want to make it easier for her to just glide across and get into your space, like right here. But Wowza doing an okay job, doesn't die from that last combo, still has to figure out a way to get in because there's 15 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, I was just about to point that out. Whereas the Wowza's matches before were so fast, this is so incredibly slow. Okay, the clock does stop because heat activation was out for Wowza, but he got nothing out of that because Lunar caught him.
And now it doesn't really matter if Wowza gets a clean hit, because he doesn't even have meter to confirm it to make the God.
Nope, time up.
That's a hard read on the throw attempt there. So that might be something that Wowza takes into consideration later.
Whereas before we had some of the shortest matches in Melty that I think I've seen, that was one of the longest matches in Melty I think I've seen. So we got a nice blowback edge combo there starting from Lunar. And I don't know if Wowza is a little bit thrown by that. Does choose to delay wake up and does tech, but this is not the strong start or the fast start that we saw before. He's much more hesitant.
And on that low shield there from Wowza, they get instant air dash spawn. Clean confirmed from Lunars. Here's a setup. Decides to not shield this time, block low, but they get thrown. Oof. Alright, now Lunar is probably just going to play this full screen game where Wowza has to try to figure out how to approach without getting tagged by a detonation or a random projectile.
Yeah. Okay, does manage to get in. Combo does come out, and he's got almost 3 bars of Magic Circuit, but goes ahead and activates the heat. And again, he's caught, so that's the end of that. Oh god, Shiki's death scream is awful.
he's saying he's the MC. I shouldn't be losing like that.
Oh, but you did. You did lose like that, my friend.
Hopefully Wowza will be a little bit more aggressive this next upcoming round, but there's a way to do it when you fight this character. You use a lot of neutral jumps. You try not to get hit on dash startup, on jump startup from spears. So it does, the aggression is a little bit slower, but you'll see when it occurs.
Okay, so I like that Wowza is starting his movement a bit more aggressively, whereas in that round that we just saw, he just sort of stood there and blocked, which was not what I really wanted to see from Wowza, especially after being so aggressive the first time we saw them on stream. Like, it does get hit with the overhead nails from Lunar, blocks the bubbles coming out, blocks again. So the bubbles, even if you're blocking them, it does create nice space for DA Noel.
Oh, alright. So Lunar tries to contest the space with DP into EX to make it safe. And you can see how Wowza is having a really hard time, even though they're losing that much life, they're just constantly jailed out. But, doesn't get a real punish on the block DP and gets hit by an air dash jump C.
Yeah, this is a huge opener for Lunar. Chooses to spend 1 bar, which is why you get 3 sets of those spears instead of just 2. And even with that there, look at all the air movement. There were so many air dashes, and then in between that you had follow-ups, which don't take your second action.
Yes, and you also have to worry about the fact that she can delay the spears, and then she can just not decide to tackle you afterwards. So she can reserve her movement for later. But it doesn't matter because Wowza's just like, alright, enough of this. Those last 3 rounds, those didn't happen.
No, those didn't happen. Or did they? He blocked all that. Oh, but now you're thrown. And this is a big setup. There's the delay spears like you were talking about. Just to change up the timing a little bit makes you guess.
Alright. Wowza's just trying not to get jailed in the corner, but they're here anyway. Alright, lost spears again. Alright, Lunar makes that string save, just slowly chipping out Wowza. Wowza waiting for his turn there, gets it, throws Lunar into the corner. Ooh, tries to bait out the throw with DP.
We tech? They both just took so long after that commitment, and then Wowza went in with a low. But look, Lunar said, I'm out of here, I committed, but I can still leave.
Ooh, alright, nice EX follow-up after the clashes. Very good, but gets thrown on wake-up, that's unfortunate. And doesn't know which side to block on.
No, I mean, that was really difficult to read, in all fairness to Wowza, but another blowback edge C, and then just that air combo. It's so consistent for Lunar. And, that's it.
Yeah, that's
Bye.
2 games. Lunar was like, hey, check out my speed run. These strats are pretty good. You can't block most of the time, but Wowza did try to figure out a way to approach each time to not get tagged by spears, but then as you saw when he was blocking, he started losing a little bit more life, so he thought he had to be more proactive. He was being too passive, and then he decided to, take a risk here and there, and it resulted in him eating a couple of combos, getting stuck in the corner, and then it became a cascading effect of, all right, this is the wrong decision, this is not the right decision.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just one wrong decision just sends you into a spiral. So let's watch that spiral.
So this is, the first round. You can see how Lunar had a very large life lead and was just deciding to back off. So even if that DP does hit, it doesn't really do anything. It's just data for later. And then Wowza was also still down in the second round here. You can see trying to use the heat mechanic to get their life back, but they got shielded, they didn't retaliate, they got a full combo, and Lunar just looked really dominant this whole set, was able to just run their game plan. Wowza had no idea what to really do, was trying to guess on defense a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of painful watching back through this, just because there were so many missed opportunities, I feel like, for Wowza. And sometimes it was just not the right decision. And then, sitting on a ton of meter here, like, yeah, maybe you're going to go ahead and activate your heat or something like that. And Lunar just had better decision making the entire time. I felt like Wowza was playing on a brain delay.
And so Lunar will be advancing on to, I believe, loser semis of the bracket, which is still, that portion of the bracket is still 2 out of 3. And we will be waiting for his opponent, which will be the winner of Masoma and Tenshi. I know a lot of people were assuming that Masoma would not be in this part of the bracket this early, even though I have seen Masoma in losers bracket earlier before, and he's usually made it to grand finals one way or another. But right now, hopefully, Masoma can shake off what happened earlier, can realize he has to play against an Akiha, and it should be something that Tenshi is also worried about because he was probably hoping not to fight against Vlav, but unfortunately, here he is. He has to fight something that a lot of Akiha players consider to be one of her worst matchups. But if you try to take the time to figure out what makes the character strong, you'll know how to approach Vlav. You'll know how to move, what to do on defense, how to structure your offense, and so on.
So besides the fact that Vlav just has moves that are longer range than Aki has and is going to force you to really make sure that you have to like run to get in, what are some other disadvantages that Akiha has in this matchup?
Her movement's not great. Her forward dash speed is amongst the slowest in the game. Her super jump and her normal jump arcs are also slightly slower. Her air dash is not the best either. And she doesn't really have a good way of approaching with like a special move across the screen without getting hit. So you would have to throw out rings to try to contest the space Vlav wants to be in. But if Vlav can force you full screen, you have to play the how do I move across the screen over these projectiles. So like low stomp, high fireball, low fireball. And then when you decide to super jump in, if Vlav, backs off and goes to the other side of the screen, you can't catch him because he is slightly faster than you in that regard with his air dash speed.
That makes this matchup sound absolutely awful, honestly.
Okay, all right. I personally don't think it's that bad. I personally think it's a hard matchup, but it doesn't mean it's a matchup where it's impossible or you can't do anything. Hopefully Tenshi can get over that hurdle because I do know he does think that this is an awful matchup for Akiha, but at the player that he is, he should have a plan for how to fight someone like Masoma.
Yeah, especially because Masoma plays so frequently on stream and then in competitions that you can at least watch matches to see their tendencies.
Alright, round start. Oh. Wow, that 5C managed to hit Masoma from that distance. I thought he was going to hit, and Tenshi gets his turn. But he used the wrong launcher, but it doesn't matter because Masoma still gets hit after that scramble.
Yeah, this is the opposite side of the Akiha matchup. If she gets in, if you allow her to take her turn, she is definitely going to have a huge life advantage. Just goes ahead and grabs him after that shield counter from the wheel in the air that Vlad decided to take.
And you can see Masoma, he's getting overwhelmed right now. Every time he looks like he's trying to hit a button, he just gets contested right after. His timing is a little bit off, but Tenshi will take those. He's just like, all right, cool, you're having an off day today? All right, it's my time to shine.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so Aki decided to jump into the corner. They went for the throw, shield. Ooh, they're being much more careful now. Both of them.
Oh, all right, Masoma manages to mash his way out of that situation, keeps his turn now. And even though his back is to the corner, he's still in a good spot because Tenshi is trying to figure out how to maneuver with low shield, but gets hit at the last moment. Gets hit by falling jump B. Should be able to confirm the end of the round.
Yeah, if he wants to, yeah, I was gonna say he can go ahead and use that extra bar of meter to do the quarterback special and just take all of that life. So the Masoma used so many of those floor icicles to bring Tenshi closer because otherwise the charge jump C wouldn't have connected afterwards, and that's what led to that big opener.
Oof. And you can see how this matchup might be considered bad because Aki, like I said earlier, her primary source of movement is just usually neutral jumping because if you super jump, you commit so much hang time in the air for Vlad to contest you. But Tenshi is just like, screw all that, I'm just gonna get her another reset.
Yeah, exactly.
And should be able to get the knockdown into the corner. Very nice. Ring set up. High shield from Masoma. Immediate launcher. Beats out Tenshi trying to do a normal button.
It does have 3 bars. Could choose to arc drive here, but does the moon drive activation instead. Interesting. Okay. It goes the other way, and then the quarterback EX to end it.
Yes. that situation is unblockable if you get caught blocking a projectile in the air from Vlov. If he's close enough, his 214C will come out right after and hit you because it's considered a grounded special move that's air unblockable, so he just gets to checkmate you in that situation.
It stomps again. We get the nice, I mean, that's just your bread and butter combo is the two-way stomp into the charge JC, and just more fire again, trying to catch Tenshi doing something, but the B counter with the shield goes ahead and opens up Masoma. We get the wheel into the air, and then the low with the launcher, and then you go ahead and just do the hard knockdown.
Alright, Masoma blocks it overhead. He gets hit with the frame trap. Oh, but Tenshi drops his combo, tries to scramble back his turn, and Masoma gets the delayed BC follow up and now gets the life lead.
Okay, fire again. Ooh! I think that was a missed input because I don't think he wanted to go for a low there. Doesn't really matter because that gets a throw, and we bring Moondrive activation on both sides. The shield, the BC was slightly too far for Tenshi to make it all the way, and that was shielded, and so that's gonna go ahead and end up with Tenshi dying.
Very good pressure from Masoma. He recognized that Tenshi would try to get desperate and try to press heat during a block string, so he made it so that the gap was a lot bigger so he could react and press shield. Oh my goodness, the jump shield from Tenshi tried to shield a projectile, but because Masoma did nothing, he gets to punish it for free.
Triple tap, jump back, put himself in the corner, but I think it's just because Tenshi stepped forward a little bit. Doesn't matter. Goes ahead and stomps, keeps going. But there was a recovery in the air, so now Tenshi's stuck on the other side. But again, just Vlov has lots of floor fire.
You can see how Masoma's changing up his projectile angles and then decided to pop Moondrive and punish a shield from Tenshi, and Masoma will take it 2-0 and advance on to, I believe it should be loser semifinals, yes.
Yeah, so Masoma will face Lunar, which they have not fought in this particular bracket yet that we have seen on stream, but they fought each other before. They fought each other a lot.
Yes, it's like essentially every United States major that there's been, they are either in grand finals or in their winners finals or winner semifinals. They're usually in the higher end of the bracket.
Yeah, and they also both play uni, so they fight each other a whole lot there as well.
Yes, that's true. That's correct. All right.
We're going to go ahead and check out the recap and see how Masoma kind of systematically dismantled Tenshi in that one.
Yes, so as you can see, Tenshi was trying to use a lot of delays to throw off Masoma's timing so that it was hard for Masoma to get a read on, okay, Tenshi likes to jump here or shield here. But then once Tenshi thought that he needed to be a lot more aggressive, Masoma was just like, okay, now I'll show you why this matchup is considered bad by a lot of Akia players. And Masoma did a really good job at making sure that Tenshi had to really be patient, figure out how Masoma was throwing fireballs, and as you see right there, that unblockable situation sealing the round. And it really shows you that if you're constantly too close to Vlov in the air like that, he can just make it so that he'll steal rounds by clipping you for jumping forward like that. And then here in this last round, you see Tenshi trying to do jump shield, trying to shield an anti-air fireball, but if Masoma does nothing, when you land, you suffer a lot of landing recovery, so that means you get punished.
Just watching this again, it seemed like at first that Masoma really was affected by the first game that they played during this entire tournament, but then they really got, and I'm going to use the joke, they got their footing back and just stomped their way all the way through, and were really able to regain a lot of the moves and confidence that they're known for when they play through this. So we are going to see Masoma continue on through this bracket. I would be really interested at some point to see statistically how Masoma does making a run through losers versus through winners, because they do really well in the losers bracket.
Yes, sometimes it happens to players. They need that wake-up call where you're doing well, you're just coasting through the tournament, and then you get knocked into loser, and you're like, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be here, or I'm playing bad, let me fix that. And usually those type of runs carry you all the way through to the end of the bracket. You get to grand finals, and you're like, yeah, now I'm playing well, and I'll show you why I'm considered one of the best in the United States.
So now we're taking a look at the bracket. We have a top four. We have four. We've got Lucy, Blooming Lotus, Lunar, and Masoma, which if you had told me yesterday when you were looking at the brackets playing into this, that this would be your top four, I would have said, yeah, That's your top four.
Yeah,
These
I
are
would
very
agree.
strong players.
I personally would have said, oh, you flip this around. Like, the people in winner's side would be in the people in loser's side. But, you know,
That I agree with.
some things happen because personally you're going based off of player strength, how often they play in bracket, how often they play each other, what their total records are. So you kind of use that as a buffer to say, like, I'll use this as my prediction of who's going to win. But sometimes you have really good days and you beat that person, you're like, yes, I did it. But you have to be careful because even though you do it once in a tournament, you might have to do it twice. And that's usually the second time that gets you.
Yeah, that's a problem because you can only make mistakes twice in a double elimination round. But that's going to round out the top four. So when we come back, we're going to get into the rest of this action. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. But in the meantime, tell your friends that this is where all the Melty Blood action is happening. And we will see you right after this.
Hello and welcome back once again to the Melty Blood Type Lumina official tournament for the United States Central Region. I am Fox, and I'm joined here this evening with...
Hey, I'm Jadelyn, and this has been great. We've been having so much fun getting to bring all of the action to you here on Mike Ross's channel, courtesy of Eliphant. So once again, thank you to all of the players who signed up to make this happen, because we wouldn't have had such a great top 8 if it wasn't for all of them. I believe it ended up being a little over 50 people to play into these central qualifiers. So this is, in case it wasn't clear, just the central region. We will also have qualifiers for the western region of the US and also the eastern region in the coming months. So you're definitely not going to want to miss those either, because these are big tournaments to all get ready for the US tournament for Melty Blood, the official US tournament for Melty Blood.
Yes. I know a lot of people were expecting, Japan has their region, are they going to do anything else? And then they dropped that surprise a few months ago, and everyone's like, oh wow, I wonder how they're going to do it. So many thanks once again to French Bread for helping organize this, giving permission to Eliphant and Mike Ross to put all this together and give us a chance to showcase our talent. And speaking of which, hopefully we can go right into the winners finals, which should be Lucy versus Blooming Lotus.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But first, we're going to take a little quick look at the bracket. So yeah, Lucy versus Blooming Lotus. And I like that we were talking a little bit before we went on break about how, yes, a lot of people would think this would be our top 4 in this region, but that winners and losers would be switched at this point. I think you made a really good point about that, Fox.
Yes, usually Lunar does beat Lucy, but it might have been the character switch that did it for them. And then Masoma and Blooming Lotus, I have seen Blooming Lotus give Masoma problems before in the past, and usually tournaments are a day-by-day basis. Some days you can play really well and you're unstoppable, and you beat everybody, and other days you lose to people who you don't normally lose to in brackets. So maybe when we see winners and losers semis, we can see what's going on with those matchups and how they pan out. But first up will be Lucy versus Blooming Lotus, and that will be winners finals, but that is 2 out of 3 as the official tournament ruling says. It will be 2 out of 3 for everything up until grand finals, which will be 3 out of 5.
Right. Yeah, that was, I think we misspoke earlier, so we just wanted to go ahead and clarify that to everybody so that you knew what to expect, not just at the central qualifiers, but at the qualifiers throughout. So the only best of 5 is going to be grand finals.
Yes, that's correct. If you've been keeping up with the official tournaments from Japan, they also have the same format. So to make it fair for everybody, we will be following the same format. I know a lot of people are like, these losers finals and winners finals are usually 3 out of 5, but sometimes there's some change of pace to get things moving a little bit quicker. And honestly, it still does give the idea that the better player will win the 2 out of 3 set up until grand finals, where a few more games there does showcase the players' prowess and how they came to be in the seat to play grand finals.
And we're ready. We're getting into it. And I see now that Lucy has decided to stay with Roa and is going to be playing into Blooming Lotus's Aoko. I actually really like both of these character choices because we know, and we've talked about it before, both of these players are... They're multi-character specialists, so they could really choose to go a lot of different ways, but they chose to go with the characters that got them into this position.
So I know that Roa still has a good time of contesting Aoko from most of the positions on the screen, except for right there, because you have to be careful about getting hit by a laser.
Yeah, that was quite the problem. I really like Blooming Lotus's orb setups. They're so purposeful about the placement and just really preventing Lucy from doing anything offensive. Just goes ahead and gets another throw, and the overhead just clonks right there. Lasers come out, and now just a big setup here. Lucy lives. Never mind, they died.
Unfortunately, Lucy, she tried to aggress when the orb was on top of her, and Blooming Lotus just released the orb, let it pop, and confirmed off the counter hit situation. But this round, Lucy is just like, that last round didn't happen. I'm going to make sure I don't have to block anything like that again.
Yeah, this is a very different situation. So now that Blooming Lotus is stuck in the corner and Roa is allowed to play, you get to see a lot of his different high-low mix-up. But the shield counter there is now reversed all of that. We did get a moon drive come out of that just to sort of see what the incoming was going to be. And there was, the overhead did not lead into the big combo like it did last time. Throw him again.
Yes, you need to have an orb set up over the opponent when you do the overhead. So if the overhead hits, the orb pops and you get more hits done. However, Lucy is going to end this round in with an arc drive. Very nice. She was able to activate Heat, get her space back, and then find a clean hit somewhere.
That was really nice, especially because Blooming Lotus just dominated that first round with a perfect. So now at least we're at 1-1. The overhead does come in, punishes that crouching shield. Because Blooming Lotus was crouching with that, just gets hit by the overhead and opened up and was very vulnerable.
So now Lucy's choosing to stay mid-screen and trying to snipe Blooming Lotus before they can set up any orbs or lasers. And right now this is looking really good for Lucy. Just walks back. Yes, waited for movement from Blooming Lotus and should be able to close up this round. Great.
Oh yeah, that was clean. Lucy really got her footing during that. That first one, I mean, it can't be much more dominant than a perfect. It just can't. I'm really trying to think of a situation where it is, but I just can't. But after that, Lucy really got good footing, got her way in there, was able to counter all of the corner situation by doing things like shield, by going ahead and turning around and doing a reverse throw, and just doing some really nice high-low setups, and then closing it out with the meter that they had on deck to just make a better playing field for them.
Alright, so both players, they look like they took a little bit of time to figure out what was going on that last round, and after a little, small delay, they go right back into it. Blooming Lotus manages to get a confirmed during that scramble. Oh, low shield gets blown up by the overhead. You gotta be careful. If you want to shield that overhead, you have to be standing, and that's just equally as dangerous.
Right, another throw again, and there's the really nice ball setups that we had in the beginning. There was a little bit of a clash there, but now big combo here from Blooming Lotus. Gonna go ahead and close it out. Just make sure it's very secure with that EX.
Very nice from Lunar Lotus. Managed to close off that round pretty quickly. Once they got Lucy into the corner, they were able to guess right all the time, but not there. They got hit by DC after shield.
Yeah, that was the most extensive shield game that we've seen so far. We're trying to go for the launcher with Blooming Lotus, but now nope, went for a neutral there instead, and then another BC caught backwards, but the block was ready. Another overhead on that crouching shield from Lucy. This is looking very similar to the second game of that first set, actually. Oh, just throw her again.
Alright, decides to keep her turn with some meter, but Blooming Lotus is willing to just press buttons there because they're just like, if I block forever, I'm never gonna be able to play the game. And Lucy had the same idea, but Blooming Lotus was like, I'll block this one time. I'll show you can block. Tries to go for a reset, doesn't get the confirm.
Oh.
Gets sniped out of the air.
Yeah, I like the idea that Blooming Lotus was going to jump to just try and get out of, not being hit by the shield, but then Lucy was ready for it and just got him trapped with the lightning.
Alright, so Lucy decides to activate Moon Drive because she whiffed the special move in the air, but made it safe, gets a clean hit. Now passively gaining meter as well. Oh, tries to bait out something with the shield, but goes back to the mid-screen to be safe. Nice. Full screen confirm with the EX. Now Blooming Lotus needs to weather the storm of the block string because, if Blooming Lotus heats poorly, that might be the end of the round for them.
Yeah, that was very, very sketchy. Oh, but the orb setup was actually really nice. I think Lucy thought that she could get more off of that than she could, and lost that little chunk of life. Oh, Lucy held a shield in the wrong way. Blooming Lotus hits with an overhead.
Alright, so last chance for Lucy. Make a DP confirm. Alright, knockdown, tech. Alright, Blooming Lotus has no meter, but they have Moon Drive.
I don't think that Blooming Lotus expected to confirm there, so they didn't commit anything. That was actually a lot more life got back by the heat. Gets a little bit of a clip at the end there from Blooming Lotus. Shield gets the launcher, and Lucy is gonna close it out. She continues through this bracket.
That was really well played from Lucy, especially that last interaction where she did anti-air shield and then just managed just to press only the A button because she noticed that Blooming Lotus didn't have access to the BC follow-up after shield, so she just did the immediate launcher, and because Blooming Lotus didn't want to get stuck in that weird situation in the air with shield, they decided to do nothing, which resulted in them getting hit by the A follow-up, and she closed out the round, which is really nice.
It was really nice. It was exciting gameplay too. It was so fun to get to watch these two just really duke it out and see what both characters can do and how they interacted with each other, because they Aoko does have some much longer range moves, but typically both Roa and Alco play at very similar ranges. They have things that can close the gap, and they have some really great close range movement options, and then they have some really cool things that they can do with setups, Alco with the balls and then Roa with the lightning. It just worked out really neat that we could showcase so much of that just because of the way they played.
Hopefully we can get some of the replay coming up, because you can see how some of their decision making affected how the outcome came from the match. But there are a lot of instances, like right here, where Lucy was stuck in the corner. She had to block the orb setup like after this knockdown. So usually with that amount of life that you have, it becomes very scary trying to block her. But on the reverse end, because you have to escape the corner versus Roa, you get hit by a lot of his buttons that go further high in the air.
Yeah, so now we're watching. Yeah, so this is the one that Blooming Lotus takes. So Blooming Lotus in both games took the first round, and then Lucy took the rest of the set. So these were some of the corner combos that Blooming Lotus was so good at setting up. And then this shield, there was the re-jump that unfortunately Blooming Lotus just got caught with, and Lucy was ready for in the end. Here was that really nice sandwich situation from the middle of the round, and that it granted Blooming Lotus a lot of damage, but with this incoming heat, it got so much life back for Lucy, and just daring Blooming Lotus to move.
And right there, as you saw the air dash to get anti-air by shield, and because you saw that Blooming Lotus didn't have enough moon gauge to press DC afterwards, they didn't want to commit to shield, so they thought they could just fall safely and, you know, block some pressure. But Lucy decided to take the initiative, get the launch, get the follow-up, and get the win there.
Yeah, I mean, so that means that Lucy is now going to be waiting for a little bit, sitting pretty in grand finals, and Blooming Lotus is going to be waiting for the winner of our next match, which is Lunar versus Masoma. Again, this is a matchup that I would have expected in winners finals. It's been winner final matches and grand finals matches before in all sorts of different tournaments, but now it's a losers semi. Yes.
I know a lot of people are just like, what are these two doing down here? Who do they have to fight? And sometimes you have a bad, you can lose a set and then go into losers and play really well, but sometimes you could have a bad day and like not even make top 8. But these two, they're veteran tournament players. They've played in many tournaments during their time, and this is no different. They're trying to make sure they can get a larger portion of the prize pool by getting first, second, or even third. So they're going to do their best in this match. I know they're both from the Texas region. They're both like, all right, man, this is no different than those other times we play on net play for 5 or 6 hours on end, just trying to grind out games. But this 2 out of 3 is the one that's going to matter between both.
It is. I mean, that's. There's so much for these two. There's so much history between them as players, and it's gone back and forth so many different times. But we're gonna go ahead and get straight into it. No more time to pontificate and wonder. We're just gonna find out.
Okay, so to everyone's disbelief, Vlob actually does have a hard time versus Dead Apostle Will, because she has a move that drops spears from the top of the screen directly to the opponent's location, but that might not matter if you can't avoid getting hit by Vlob.
Right. Okay, just goes ahead and just throwing out the fireballs. Oh, I liked that Masoma went ahead and activated the moon drive so that he could make a good decision after those nails were coming in from Noelle.
Right. Also, when you activate moon drive, you do gain meter passively for the duration of the moon drive, so maybe he's also looking out for the future to see if he gets a hit, he can spend meter like he just did.
Right. Okay, trying to open her up with 2 lows, but then went ahead and just used the C instead. I like how Masoma was like, let me feel it out with a double 2A, and then was like, C.
Vlog does deceptively have long-reaching normals with the C normals, because sometimes you think, oh, he's got stubby normals, but then he uses that special machete that he has, and he goes a lot farther than he normally does.
Yeah, I mean, his A's are stubby, to be fair to him, but his B and C, oh baby, you just gotta watch your toes. There it is again. So the spears were coming in from Lunar, but Masoma went ahead and activated his moon drive so that he could see where they're coming, shielded them. Even though he did get hit, he goes ahead and gets a big hit onto Lunar. Lunar has almost 4 bars of magic circuit, though. Could make a big decision here, but Vlog just speeded right underneath those diagonal spears.
but he got hit by the spears that fall that are overhead. That's the moon skill version. And Lunar gets it confirmed, tries to go overhead again, good block from Masoma. Gets hit by dash up ADP. This should be the round if Lunar decides to spend meter.
Yeah, does.
All
yeah,
right.
it uses the meter DP, which does several hits. So if it hadn't killed on the first one, it would have killed later.
Alright, small confirm from this throw to Lunar. Masoma trying to. Oh god. Manages to not get hit by that jump C there somehow.
Yeah, what was interesting about that initial combo is that Masoma had been teching, he would have teched out of it, which is, you know, there's dangers to not teching and teching in this game.
Yes. Usually when you decide to tech on the ground or in the air, you fall victim to a setup that the opponent has. They can try to reset you, they can try to make it really tricky, but if you don't tech, you make it harder for them as well because they then aren't expecting you to not do anything. But
Right. Okay, this is looking really strong for Lunar here. Try to go for the launcher after the shield from Masoma. Does it again, doesn't decide to do anything, and then he just blob jumps out of there, uses that super jump to gain a little bit more forward momentum, gets a heat in to get Noel out of there, and the shield, that's a lot of life actually. It's going to bring them back to about even life. So that was arc drive from Masoma, and I'm not really sure why.
That was just to get a little bit more chip because his arc drive is relatively safe. He doesn't have to worry about you shielding and punishing him. So Masoma just said, I'm just going to use the meter I have here. Oh my god. Just gonna get a clean confirm with 2-2A, 2-2C, 2-2C again. Doing a lot of damage from full screen really quickly that a lot of people aren't expecting. So I know Lunar must be thinking like, man, why'd I get hit there? Oh, right, I wasn't blocking low.
Yeah, that was something that I haven't seen Masoma do in recent months when I've seen him play. Just so I was kind of caught off guard by this arc drive that seemingly came out of nowhere. But now that you've explained it, and then that we got to see all of the follow-up with that extra chip, I mean, once Masoma got a really solid hit in there, Lunar was just bleeding. So it makes a lot of sense now. It was really smart gameplay.
Alright, so both players they were trying to be full screen, but now Masoma's like, yeah, if I aggress, he got lucky with the second part of the flame carpet there, getting confirmed. And Lunar is probably just gonna try to force his way back in, but once again, Masoma getting these really clean confirms.
Very, very clean. And deciding different ways to counter with the shield game. I'm glad we covered that earlier because Masoma has used all of the different options. Goes for the low while Lunar was trying to explode the orbs on top of that EX spear throw and dies for it.
Yeah, unfortunately Lunar dropped the combo there. He thought the tackle would hit higher and get the 2-4C follow-up, but instead because it dropped after Masoma just landed and pressed 2A to get a punish.
Ooh, that delay A punish. Didn't get anything off of it, but that was really scary. It was very much Vlov standing in your face saying, I dare you.
Yes, and Masoma looking really good this round. He has Moondrive active, so he's going to get a lot more meter passively. And then Lunar has to do his best to get some sort of clean hit. There we go. Full screen spears hit.
Yeah, okay. Does the same thing as he did before after that EX spear throw from the air. Just the ran up with the delay shield. Gets a DP to go ahead and open up Masoma. Gets the cross up. We've seen this time and time again. This is a very solid combo from Lunar. So Masoma decided to stand shield. Lunar went low, but then ended up dropping the combo. However, Masoma might die here.
Backs off. Just trying to figure out how to get a hit. Oh my god. Alright. Clean 2A confirmed for Masoma. Light spin bar. Heat. Just go for the mix up.
No, we tech those.
Alright.
The overhead. Wow.
Unfortunately, Lunar tried to jump at the last second, and because the overhead from Vlov there is a grounded normal, you cannot block that in the air. You have to jump shield it, and because Lunar was not ready for that, Masoma got a clean confirm afterwards and ended the round.
Yeah, so that overhead hit is something that we don't see. I mean, it's a really fabulous tool for Vlov, and a lot of times you'll see it in certain combos. It's not reliable all the time. It doesn't, like the hitbox on it is kind of weird, depending on how your opponent is moving across the screen, especially if they're falling. But there, if you're just, the way that Lunar was just standing there. It opened him up wide for Masoma with a pixel of health to go ahead and take the round. So let's take a look at that, because that was pretty impressive.
Yes. A lot of situations, Masoma was able to somehow press his 2A or whatever button sooner, or just counter poke Lunar for trying to be too aggressive. And a lot of these situations where being aggressive gets you killed because you don't have the life to eat a combo and then say, okay, I'll pick it back up. But this round 2 in game 1, Lunar managed to get that clean confirmed, end the round. And then as you see, Masoma was willing to just throw out the fireball, wait, and then you saw him dash up, do nothing, and wait. He keeps varying his timing to make it hard for you to guess, okay, are you just going to be able to super jump on me? And there's one of the drops that we were talking about earlier where unfortunately Lunar did the combo a little bit too early, and then Masoma took that round. And then right here, once again, Lunar getting this situation, he gets a 2A after the high shield, but he doesn't press it once again. He's kind of not confident in that situation there.
So now getting into this last bit, this is where I was really impressed with Masoma's decision making, because he had a sliver of health. He's choosing not to do the heat activation there, which could have been incredibly risky depending on how Lunar countered it. He missed there. They stood at each other. They went. There was the really clean tech there. And then just that was the overhead that opened him up, and then finished the Rekastray grab, and that just cleaned it up.
Yes, sometimes not using one of your more powerful tools like an overhead. A standing overhead in this game is really strong because a lot of people aren't getting ready to stand block from mid-screen, especially when Wob has a button that goes that far, that fast, and you have to stand up for, and he can cancel that into his Rekka, which starts low. So if you're not ready, you have to be able to block high and then low really quickly, and Wob can just kind of exploit your defensives pretty often with that setup. But as we move further into the bracket, we can see the player progression.
Right, so here's where we are. Oh, I love that Grand Finals is now huge. That makes me super happy. So Lucy is waiting now for the winner of Blooming Lotus versus Masoma, something that people have seen before, but we're going to see it again. And I'm excited because both Blooming Lotus and Masoma are playing. They're playing well, but they're playing differently. I feel like they've made some significant steps in their gameplay since I last saw them at Combo Breaker, and since watching some of their gameplay at CEO as well. So it's cool to see them in this position once again, but bringing new tools to the table.
Yes, hopefully Masoma is a little less shaken in those situations from earlier today. He looked like he was playing pretty clean versus Lunar, an opponent that actually could have beat him just now in their set. But Masoma got the better of a lot of those situations, was able to slow down the pace of how he normally plays and throw off Lunar a little bit. Hopefully he can do the same thing versus Lotus. The thing is, he doesn't play against Alco too much, so I'm not sure what his game plan is after the first loss, but maybe it's going to be the same thing versus Lunar. It makes it so that it's hard to throw out full screen projectiles. He has to be the first one to do so. And also, Wob is pretty quick in the air if you can time your air dashes correctly. So if Blooming Lotus is not ready, they can just, have the same treatment as they did as Lunar got from Masoma. So hopefully later on in the bracket, we can see if Masoma gets to the Grand Finals, we can see his adjustments.
I'm certainly looking forward to that. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break so that everybody, get your water, go to the bathroom, because after this, it's Losers Finals, Grand Finals. You don't want to miss it, especially if you've seen all the way up to here. So go ahead, grab your snack, bathroom break, and we'll catch you right after this.
Yes. Hello and welcome back once again to the Melty Blood Type Lumina official tournament for the United States Central Qualifier. I am Fox. I'm joined here this evening with...
I'm Jadelyn, and I have said it every time, but I'm going to say something different this time. This is hype. This has been such good matches here for the Melty Blood Central Region Qualifier for the official US tournament, hosted by Eliphant. But before we get any further into this, because all we have left is losers finals and grand finals, that's it. And we, both Fox and I, want to thank the 50 some odd competitors that signed up to make this top 8 what it is, but also right now the over 1,000 of you who've stuck around to watch this. We would not be Melty Blood without you guys, without your support, without everything going in chat. I've been watching you guys the entire time, chatting it up, rooting for your favorite players, talking about what move is more OP than another one, and it's been so much fun to get to watch you participating in this. And I really hope that you get excited about Melty Blood and continue to support through the Western and Eastern qualifiers as well. So thank you so much.
Yes, a lot of this interest would not have been peaked if people weren't like, yeah, I want more Melty Blood tournaments, or man, I wish they would do more official tournaments similar to the Japan region. So French Bread was nice enough to reach out to Eliphant and say like, hey, you guys can do this, here's what you need to know, here's what you can do. And then Eliphant and Mike Ross, they were just like, hey, what do we need to know from you guys to make sure this goes smoothly as possible, and all the information that needs to be distributed. And we did our best to make sure we told them everything we could. We might have missed one or two things, but there's a learning process. Not everything's gonna be perfect, but it takes more effort to actually do all this stuff than to sit around and think of what you're missing. So huge shout out to everyone involved. Production is a very thankless job. It's very volatile, but it comes at experience, knowing what to do, how to do it, who to talk to. So once again, I want to say thank you to everybody for helping put this event on. It doesn't just happen overnight. It takes months and months of collaborating and making sure everything's good.
Yeah, I like that somebody in chat mentioned homies talking about homies. Yeah, I mean, that's really what it is. Like, we're all... It's really cool because, I mean, I know personally, I actually know several people personally who are in the chat, and it's a really cool community to be a part of. So thank you guys for expanding the community. Anybody who's new, who came to just be like, what is this being streamed right now? And who's like, I actually saw a couple times people were like, oh, this is a super sick looking game, I'm gonna pick it up, which if you haven't seen on the card, it's 35% off now on multiple different platforms. So go ahead, pick up Melty Blood. And all the DLC is free and will continue to be free, they announced. So play Melty Blood.
Yeah, that's also really unprecedented that DLC, what is it? We have 2 sets of DLC so far, and it's just like four characters come out. They're all free. You don't have to pay for anything. You get right now we have 4 additional stages as well. So the game's not even like a typical full price game. It's like $10 less American than normally is. So if you're on the fence about, oh, okay, I don't know if I want to buy it, it's a little bit cheaper now because of the sale. You can give it a try. You can tell your friends like, hey, check this game out. It got a new release last year. So if you were on the fence about learning Melty Blood, there's a lot of resources out there. There's a lot of people who are willing to help refine what you want to do in the game, how to learn the game. So don't be scared about trying the game out, because you might find out that you really like the game, you have a lot of fun, and you'll meet a lot of cool people playing the game, and just you'll have new experiences as you go along.
I think that's a really great way to say it. There's nothing else to say about it. So play Melty Blood. Join other people playing Melty Blood. I mean, it's a great game. So now we are going to get close to... Oh, actually, we're going to look at the bracket to first look at, the road that everybody followed to get here. Looking... a lot of 2-0s, actually. We only have 2 2-1s. And now we are going to get into shortly Masoma versus Blooming Lotus. So most likely, Alco into Vlav. I don't think I've ever seen Masoma play anybody but Vlav. But Blooming Lotus does have other characters. Has played D.A. Noel. They actually did most of their run through Combo Breaker with that character, but also brought out a Maids during that.
Yes, they also do play Maids with Kohaku lead. It's one of those... Blooming Lotus is one of those players who just somehow fell into the ability to play multiple characters in this game, which is a good strength because you can throw off your opponents if they're not ready for the character you're picking. And they're like, oh, I've never fought against Haku before, or oh man, I barely fight against Alko, or I don't remember what she does. That's a very powerful tool because if you're proficient in multiple characters, you have a lot to pick from where your strengths lie in those characters. And then if you notice your opponent's not ready for them, that's another advantage that you have over them as well.
I mean, those are all really good points and really good things to highlight about this before we get into this. I see, oh, somebody's ready. Oh, we're both ready, so we're gonna get into it now. I love this. I love like when we finish something talking about it and then we're like, get into the match, because there's only so much we can say without actually getting to see what's going on, and that's where all the action is. So this is our losers finals. It is going to be Alko into Vlav, which is what we expected at this point, and let's just see what we have on round start. So there is a little bit of pre-round movement, which you can decide your spacing. Sometimes you want to be closer, sometimes you want to be further away. Masoma originally tried to get away, and Blooming Lotus was like, no, I'm running straight at you.
Yeah, Masoma's typically not the super aggressive player, but unfortunately, it looks like his aggression right now is going against them because Blooming Lotus is just doing everything correctly. They're able to pin down Masoma, except they get hit by Jump C there, and Masoma gets his turn. Oh, drops his combo, but he still keeps pressure.
Yeah, Masoma decided to go for a 2A there instead of a 2B or 2C. Could have probably caught with one of the latter two, but because 2A is so stumpy, it didn't work out. Just charges right on top of Blooming Lotus's body.
Yes, trying to probably provoke a response, but Blooming Lotus gets a shield BC, gets a full combo, and this might be the last interaction for the round. Shield, B vanish, hits. Oh no, but Blooming Lotus tried to throw it. Masoma was already pressing 2A like the top Melty Blood player he is.
The top Melty Blood player he is. I think one of the things I really like about the way Masoma plays is that he uses his magic circuit as a threat. Like just sitting on it and being like, I'm not gonna, activate heat or all sorts of other things. He uses it as a threat against like any other player. But right now, Blooming Lotus eating a ton of damage. There was a Moondrive activation in there, and we get a air knockup. Oh, there was a brief shield which Blooming Lotus went ahead and threw, and then the orb keeps Masoma in the corner. This is a significant portion of damage.
Alright, sets up another orb. Alright, so he manages to detect the grab. He has to make something happen here. Keeps some plus frames. Tries to not be too close to Blooming Lotus. Doesn't want to get hit by 2A.
No, goes for the fire, using the floor and the projectiles just to try and catch. Oh, we got caught on the back motion from the fire. Closes the gap and dashed in, and then finally gets a little bit more with the fire. I believe that was the... I think it was the C version because it's a little bit taller. No, that was B. Just kidding.
Yes, he used 214C, the EX Rekka, to move forward, so that way he could be in place to actually get a confirm. He used it to not hit, to move forward, to get a confirm with the next stop follow-up. So that's good recognition from Masoma to realize what's going on and say like, oh, I can just do this cool confirm. Alright, orb setup, double jump, gets hit, no air throw, unfortunately. Masoma kept trying to press a button on the way down, got hit by the laser.
Yep, opened up by the lows. Lasers come out again. This is... You know what, I'm not going to count Masoma out of this. I've seen him come back from worse. We saw it earlier today.
Yes.
So now we have a big combo into the corner, going to go ahead and spend 1 bar of meter, goes for the throw, backdash, and then he always checks with the jump A to see if somebody's going to jump on wake up for that, and a catch with an empty jump neutral there.
I'm not sure if that reset was intentional, but you take those.
Yeah, we absolutely take those. Like I said, I was like, oh, Masoma's dead, JK. No, he's not.
He managed to fight his way out the corner. It looked like 2 drops were resets, but every drop is a reset if you get the hit right after. Oh my god, man. Just using Moondrive to punish the jumping attempt from Blooming Lotus to get a confirm, push a full stream.
Yep.
Empty jump low again? Wow.
Yeah, these empty jumps are really throwing Lotus, like, very badly. Look at how much meter Blooming Lotus has because he hasn't gotten the chance to play the video game.
Ooh, alright. Gets a confirm off the jump C, jump A. Expand the bar. Alright, decides to go for pressure. Low shield from Masoma. Doesn't get hit by the jump C. Oh, yeah. Small confirm from Lotus.
Okay, the overhead comes out. The Moondrive activation. I like the idea, but the execution was no good.
I actually don't know what really happened there because I know Blooming Lotus activated Moondrive and Masoma was already doing Rising Jump C, so I think maybe Lotus thought they could dash under, which meant they could not block the Jump C as it came out on that same frame. So maybe they got hit and that's why, but hopefully when the recap comes up, we can see what's going on and kind of analyze that a little bit better.
Yeah, I would like to see that again for sure. But I was so watching that and then thinking back to the second game that we played in this entire tournament, which was Masoma versus Blooming Lotus. Actually, Blooming Lotus put Masoma into losers.
I know a lot
Masoma
of
played much more confidently.
Yeah, because it's the first match of the day. You might have just woke up like an hour ago since it's a net play tournament. You're just like, my confirms are not on point. My decision making's kind of sloppy. It's hot. I didn't turn on my AC. I don't have any water. My fan's not working. All those gamer excuses.
So many excuses, but we are going to get the opportunity to go ahead and watch this again and really see where Masoma was able to capitalize and where Blooming Lotus, where they were so dominant before, kind of slipped up this time.
And Masoma managed to escape the corner there, and you saw Blooming Lotus try to get an immediate throw, but Masoma was able to mash 2A there, get the confirm, win the round, and then more of the small zoning. The way this round ended was pretty interesting because, as you see, Masoma gets the fireball to hit, and he uses the meter just to move forward so he can make sure his next follow-up works. And that was a reset in this round here earlier, and Masoma just kind of caught Blooming Lotus trying to tech and not getting ready for the reset as well.
Yeah, I love that tech there. So this was right there where... Okay, so even seeing it again, it just seemed like Masoma was just so much more dominant, that they were able to just, go ahead, have the jump. And then after seeing the Moondrive activation from Blooming Lotus, they were like, okay, I didn't use my other air action and came down with that, not even a charged JC, just a regular JC, and was able to just take the round.
Right. It looked like Masoma had a better idea of what he wanted to do, how he wanted to be more aggressive, because sometimes you lose to a player like Blooming Lotus when you're trying to see what they do, and Blooming Lotus is pretty aggressive. They want to make sure that you don't have a handle on their playstyle. They want you to make mistakes, second guess a lot of your decisions, and then Masoma was just like, nah, I already know what I want to do. I know how I lost the first set earlier on today, so I'm just gonna make this comeback real quick. There's a lot of times where he looked like he was down, but he managed to pull it together, and now he's in Grand Finals, the loser side.
Right, so actually Blooming Lotus is in chat and said that in that instance he was trying to air shield, so air shield would put him in the position to punish the shield options from JC, and it just didn't work out for him.
Oh, I see.
So thanks Blooming Lotus for shedding some light onto that, and instead of us just being like, what did he mean to do? Now we know what you meant to do, but thank you. Thank you for playing Blooming Lotus. It was very, very exciting to see your whole run through this.
Yes, Blooming Lotus does go out at third for this tournament. They still get a portion of the prize money. They get a color palette, and they get an icon for getting third place from this tournament. It'd be gifted to them from Eliphant later on. But right now, we're getting ready to go into grand finals. So it'll be Lucy versus Masoma. Lucy might be sticking with Roa. It's hard to tell. They could be deciding, hey, I want to play this character that got me this far. This is the character that a lot of people knew me for. So it would be in their best interest to have the utmost confidence to say, I will play this character throughout this 3 out of 5 set.
Yes, Lucy's been playing incredibly today. In there, just as a recap, which we did get to see briefly with that, with the graphic that went by with the bracket. So Lucy versus Lunar, so Roa into DNOL took it 2-0. The next time that we saw Lucy was Lucy versus Blooming Lotus, and then Roa Alco 2-0. Very just clean run. Lucy been able, obviously, to play a lot less games than Masoma as well.
Hopefully Masoma, it has the idea of what they need to do versus Roa, because I know a lot of people say like, all right, I know Roa's gonna throw lightning from this part of the screen, but I'm Vav, I can just, I can get further away from the lightning and never have to interact with it. But then when you get the knockdown, you have to worry about Roa has a bunch of different ways to make it hard for you to pin him down. He has a DP that's special cancelable. He has a move that will punish a projectile attempt from full screen with his 236C. It's when all the lightning is on the screen. But at the caliber of player that Masoma is, he should know, okay, this is how I fight this character, this is how I fight my opponent, and hopefully he'll have a better set here than he did earlier today, but he looks like he's warmed up so far.
Yes, definitely looked like he warms up a lot and has been playing much more consistently and sticking with the game plan much better than at the very beginning of today. So now we've made it this far. We've gone from a little over 50 and we're down to 2. This is the grand finals of the official US Melty Blood Tournament Central with Lucy versus Masoma. Wait.
Yeah.
Am I seeing this correctly?
Yeah, I guess Lucy's like,
no!
She has a set to work with. So this is a 3 out of 5 set.
This is a 3 out of 5, but for real?
Yeah, this could be one of those things where you test what's going on, what's happening. Like maybe you have a better read against Masoma with this character than your other character. But unfortunately, it looks like Masoma's just like, yeah, I don't really care if you're playing the same character as me because I'm the best long player in the United States.
That's ridiculous. So, I mean, we can see button checks. And Lucy button checked with Roa and then switched to Vlog.
It could have been a last-second decision they made, or they were trying to throw off Masoma. Oh.
Yeah, maybe, but actually, Lucy getting a nice opener there. I mean, Masoma has been playing very strong, does get a safe heat, able to regen a lot of life off of this. The backdash shield, and then we get the A counter for the launcher.
Alright, so Masoma's probably going to end with an air throw here. No, just puts Lucy full screen. Tries to contest the space so she can't throw a fireball easily because, in a mirror match, if you are good at throwing projectiles, it means your other counterparts is also as good as you. So you just need to be better than your opponent, the player, at decision making of where to put what on the screen.
Ooh, okay. Oh, wow. So there was the overhead incoming. So Lucy decided to go ahead and activate heat. Jump! Oh my god, that was really scary, but the throw is gonna win it. So there was a little bit of extra damage like we covered earlier because of the shield, and that killed Lucy.
Alright, so Lucy being really aggressive here in this round start, trying to make sure Masoma just can't start running away with the set so far. And, charges him, see hits, will confirm incoming. She might spend the bar, yep. Pushes Masoma full screen, charges a little bit.
Okay.
And now Masoma is just like, okay, I know where I can take my turn back because I also have the same full screen options.
Right, okay. I actually have not seen this particular Vlog color, and I really like the color of the ice. Oh my gosh. Lucy has taken Masoma's own medicine right to him and does end up taking that round. Lucy seems much more confident in ice, as a lot of Vlog players are, just because your projectiles are bigger and you get more chip damage from it. There's the stomp special from Masoma. We did get icicles in the jump coming out from Lucy, though, and we're just full screen stomping now.
Yes, it now turns into a fight for who's going to flinch first, who's going to move improperly and get hit by the low projectile. Alright, Masoma gets a small hit, but doesn't need to interact with Lucy. Doesn't have to be that close, but can just vary his timing of stomps. But she's also varying her timing and making sure Masoma can't shield for free like there.
No. The thing is, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get to that later. But Masoma committed to that JC. And I feel like Lucy could have really ripped him up. It doesn't matter, just goes ahead and gets the ice projectile. So what I was going to say about that is Lucy, goes in with Vlav, and, she is sitting in the winner's side. She's got a lot of opportunities if there's a reset to change character. But then if you don't, and you're doing well, why not just take the game?
Yes, and sometimes turn into the small change of pace from what your opponent was expecting, makes it so they have a harder read on what you're trying to do. And right now they're both using Moondrive, trying to get the better of the other.
I feel like they're sharing the one Vlav brain cell. Nobody else is allowed to play Vlav. It's in use right now.
Someone gets a clean hit, spends a bar, launcher. probably gonna go into a safe jump setup here. And Lucy's just like, screw all that, I'm just gonna do wake up 2B.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, it works. Went underneath and then decided to charge just a tiny little bit. Did get a teensy bit of moon gauge back. The overhead that's been doing so well from Masoma does come out, but there was an air recovery from Lucy. Not getting caught. They have the moon drive activation. No real hits coming out there from Lucy. No confirms. There were hits. There's just nothing to confirm. And they've been spending so much time just staring at each other full screen.
Oof. Alright, so Lucy decides to shield from there just to get a little bit of life back. Masoma activates Moondrive to stay safe on that whiff projectile. And now Lucy, if she flinches improperly, she will lose this round, but waits for Masoma to get close before she decides to heat.
Okay, do it again. Does another one. Oh, jump back to get away from the JC that's incoming from Masoma. Lucy has got nothing to worry. You know what? You know what you have to work with? Confidence.
Oh my god.
Oh no!
That was the premier empty jump nothing, get hit by your opponent button because you were too slow. And honestly, I would not expect someone to do that either. I also got caught off guard.
Oh, that... Okay, so now Masoma is able to take a lot more damage, more consistent damage that I feel like they've gotten. I feel like Masoma gets a lot more off of one hit than Lucy does with this character, but they're seemingly a lot more practiced, honestly, especially in a competitive situation. Big opener here. Lucy has no moon gauge. Masoma has a lot. Okay, but now we have a safe heat during that knockdown from the throw, and Lucy back in ice, which was really scary last time.
Masoma's doing a... as I said that, he was doing a good job of blocking. He gets hit twice, but gets his turn back after all that. Still plus frames, stagger. Trying to throw out Lucy with the air fireball, anti-air shield.
Oh,
nice
I love that dash
Lucy.
out. Yeah, that was nice.
Ooh. But Masoma gets a clean 5A confirm. Gonna put her back into the corner. Staggering a lot, doesn't have to worry about the heat. Oh,
so... Yeah, even though Lucy lost that one, what I really like, if you noticed that Masoma came in with that overhead, it's been doing wonders for him, and Lucy stood up. That was the only time she stood up during that block string. It was down, 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 up, down. So Masoma was getting red a little bit with the approach.
Yes, but Masoma was just a little bit more... Oh my god. Well, you rarely see a raw 3C heat as an anti-air nowadays, but when you do it, it looks clean like that. The overhead block. Masoma just tried to, make sure his pressure, yes, doesn't get shielded, so anytime there's a gap for the shield from Lucy, he can just take his turn back. Even with a reset, quote-unquote reset, that just happened right there. Alright, last interaction coming up. Oh, and she did it again just to wake up 2B.
Yeah, oof.
Alright, and the small air dash jump A from Masoma there in that last exchange. That was kind of odd, but we take this.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just do. All right, back into ice again. Lucy gets a good chunk of damage out of there. Oh, I like choosing to use a little bit of charge to get a full moon drive there, or moon gauge, excuse me. Jumps in the air, commits to another air action. This is a big opportunity for Masoma because they were on so much recovery on landing.
Yes, I'm surprised Lucy didn't activate Moondrive to stay safe there, but I guess she thought she didn't need to. Oh, gets caught by the grab portion of the Rekka. You have to jump that, or you have to try to hit him before it comes out.
Okay, triple A into the air. Oh, Vlad was actually too far away for a normal. I don't think I've ever seen that before in my life.
The X stomp, dash up throw, real easy and clean from Masoma, goes up in the set 2-1. So now... we'll see if Lucy, she's just sticking with Vlad, hoping that those two games that Masoma won were just flukes somehow, that Masoma just got lucky. Top players tend to lose 2 games in a row and then run it back, right? Those things happen.
Right, backdashing to round start does shield, but both of them have been shielding a lot and not doing anything afterwards to follow up. Big opener here from Masoma, gets that charge JC, the triple knockdown. Oh, Lucy ducked at the last second.
Alright, clean confirm. Now you're back in the corner. Anti-air shield back. BC back from Masoma, very nice. You should be able to win this round if he spends the bar, it'll be close.
Very close. Oh, I love the... Oh, no, that's not dead yet. There's a lot of scaling on that combo, but she goes ahead and takes it with the overhead at the end.
All right, so Masoma on reset point.
I mean, Masoma's playing very confidently right now, especially because they're so familiar with this character and everything that this character can do. So, I mean, maybe Lucy gets some really crazy cool combos in ice, or maybe we're going to another game.
Ooh. Lucy trying everything in her power to not to have to block anything or give Masoma a chance to get a punish. Ooh, very nice. Immediately dumps the heat meter for arc drive there. Tries to get a dash up throw, but Masoma gets his own.
Okay.
Anti-shield launch.
Yeah, nice launcher. Because this is an opportunity for Lucy to get a little bit more damage. Does drop it at the end, getting those double downs coming out. Another one uses the EX double down and then another double down. But just so patient is Lucy and goes ahead and just uses a combo to open them up.
Masoma somehow jumped into 5B there. I guess Masoma thought Lucy was going to shield or something, but to no avail. And now Masoma's ahead in life so far, just making it hard for Lucy to throw out her own fireballs.
Right. Okay. Does shield and dashes out. Vlad's dash is deceptively fast. So
Yes.
it's easy to just, when against another player that's jumping, to just dash right underneath them and get out of a sticky situation.
And Masoma holding low shield there, and then decided to let go at the last second and got hit instead.
And uses that triple into the air, but doesn't use a second air action, which is something that we see Masoma do frequently. Okay, another shield to get rid of the incoming. Jumps over the ice. That could have been very dangerous.
And you can see Masoma's just willing to throw out projectiles even though Lucy keeps shielding them, because he knows that the one time Lucy doesn't shield, he can get his turn back, but that's not... Oh no. Alright, don't let a ghost beat you. There we go. Super jump air.
The air grab gets him.
So Lucy is now tied up the set 2-2. She only needs one more game to win this tournament, and now Masoma is probably second guessing his decisions like, I thought I was the better Vlad player. What's going on here?
What's going on? What's happening? What has led me to this point in time where I'm being beaten by my own character?
Oh,
Well,
anti-air 2C. Let's go.
yeah. You're getting opened up by your own combos. Obviously, it's because Lucy has a cool coat. That's what it is.
Oops. Alright. Gets attacked by a projectile. Nothing crazy. Oh, Moondrive activation back. Low shield. BC back. Lucy not ready to shield once again. Thought she won the exchange, but she did not.
Right. Okay, big hit there. And I love the way that Masoma is always ready with that launcher, especially how they have so much time afterwards. Ooh, does it commit on the end of the BC? Just gets more spacing for Lucy.
Hey, overhead. Should be the end of this round. Oh, doesn't even have to spend meter. Very nice.
Okay, back into ice for Lucy, which has been honestly their stronger phase. You do have to be on your losing round to have that activated. Lots of meters just for Lucy. Goes ahead, spends a bar. Masoma stomping back, doing a lot of shielding. Ice on the floor, fire on the floor.
Oh, just tagged there. Masoma is still okay. He's just eating small bits of damage here and there. No full combo. Uh-oh.
Oh, this is a big opener. Tried to just dash Masoma all the way into the corner, but that unfortunately gave Masoma the opening that he needed. Goes ahead and gets a stop, but misses again. Lucy just popped up a little too high. Moondrive activation for Moondrive activation here, so both of them spending a lot. But Lucy does have 4 bars of Magic Circuit, where Masoma almost has 3.
And unfortunately, Lucy decided to heat there because she thought she needed to make sure Masoma didn't get his turn back. And now she's one more combo away from losing this set. Anti-air shield. Masoma does a shield back, eats a full combo. Let's see what Lucy decides to do here. Puts Masoma full screen.
Oh, and then went for the 2A and is going to head and close that out. That was such incredibly risky gameplay from Lucy, especially with that Blood Heat activation, because that gets rid of all of your Magic Circuit, and Masoma wasted it so effectively, but she was able to come back.
Alright, Masoma taking his turn back, low shield. Oh, tried this high shield back, gets hit by the B vanish.
God. All right, I like the way that Masoma is changing up the direction of the way he's throwing ice to just get rid of all the different space that Lucy can operate in. Big opener, throws her into the corner.
Ooh. Fakes the little Rekka after, goes for the fireball, still keeping pressure. Overhead gets blocked again. Alright, no grab
God,
there.
so much blocking.
Yeah, he's keeping his turn, he's making sure she can't shield anything like that.
Oh no, that was a big mistake for Lucy. This could be the thing that loses the round if Masoma doesn't drop this.
Alright, there we go. One more interaction coming up. So let's see if Masoma tries to end the round in the throw or just... Oh, there's a shield.
Oh my gosh,
There's the
Blood Heat activation! This is an overhead. Now Masoma is caught. Lucy is getting back so much life. Can go ahead and end it with an arc drive. Okay, gets a lot of damage off of that. Gets a little bit of a charge. This is still a one interaction game, really.
Masoma blocks it out, activates Moondrive, trying to see if any... Oh no!
No!
Round's not over. It's still close. Drop combo. Oh! And in that last interaction, you saw Masoma dash under Lucy and press 5B, and she wasn't ready to block on the other side. So we have a bracket reset. Both players are on loser side of the bracket, and they have to play another 3 out of 5.
I wish that they hadn't gone right in because I would like to breathe. Please let me breathe. But we're back in, and we're sticking with Vlav. Lucy said no. This is going all right.
I'm gonna assume that Lucy thinks that that set was good enough to ride out with Vlav, because it's not like she lost 3-0. It was 3-2, but it was actually close.
Oh, you're right. It really was. I'm sorry.
Oh, drop confirmed, but Lucy does have the life advantage, just keeping Masoma near the corner. Masoma tried to get a hard with the 3C. Rising jump A counter, but no confirmed. BC from Lucy after shield. And this should be the end of the round. She might have to use 2 meters.
Yeah, it does have to use 2 meters. Oh my gosh, he lived. Okay, for once in its life, 5A won something. 5A is so short. It gets me in trouble all the time. Anyway, getting into the second round. Big opener here from Masoma. Want to see what he does with this. He goes ahead and uses the 1 bar and then just charges. You can, if you have that much meter, do 2 bars and then do the charge, but he decided not to.
Oh, now Masoma resorting to some stagger pressure at the throws to make it so that if Lucy shields, she will get fataled and eat more damage than normal. Try not to get anti-air shield. Good pressure from Masoma. He's waiting to bait out the heat from Lucy. Lucy doing really good blocking until she presses a button at the last second.
Why are you pressing a button? So Lucy decided to go for a low to try and counter a lot of the higher buttons that Masoma was putting out, and unfortunately, Masoma was ready. Unfortunately for Lucy, not Masoma.
Oh, doesn't get the 3C launcher, but it's okay. Masoma has good footing. Oh my god, Lucy just holding shield there, knowing that Masoma's gonna act immediately, but she doesn't get out the corner.
Okay, does use the heat. I mean, that could have been countered really easily by Masoma, but doesn't. And a huge combo again from Lucy. There's a lot of scaling on that super there, but it ended up working out all right. The overhead does connect, but didn't get anything else off of it. Get the blood drive activate, or moon gauge activation, sorry. I'm so excited, I'm starting to cross words all over the place.
Nah, it's okay. And, like, it's red, it pops up, it freezes the screen.
I wanted to be Blood Moon. It was right there. It was low-hanging fruit.
And you can see how both players just... Oh my god, he actually moon drive through the projectile. Alright. Masoma's gonna be a little bit more aggressive now, trying to take this set, this game 1.
Right. Oh, you know what I'm really surprised Masoma doesn't go for? The grab, but then Lucy was ready for it, and he's right as I was gonna say it. Thank you for commentator's blessing in that moment.
And you can see Masoma was doing a good job of holding down back to not get hit by the stomps there, but unfortunately, he decides to stand up at the last second and gets hit by that last set of stomps. And Lucy goes up in this reset 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, you said it in the Grand Finals reset that Lucy is sticking with this character because she felt like it went okay. And I do think it's going fine for her. Just immediate heat? Ridiculous.
That's the rare 99-second heat where you don't want the opponent next to you, you want to play the game, but now you don't have the ability to actually heat when you need to play the game.
Yeah, you now don't have this resource.
Alright, okay. Lucy getting her turn back on the shield. Masoma using BC's the same as Lucy, but they both go back to the other side of the screen.
Okay, tech. That was like the world's latest tech.
Yes. it is possible to react to the throw occurring, but it's a very small window.
Very, very small. Okay,
All right.
lots of stomps coming out. Lucy gets a teensy-weensy little charge in there, but Masoma just trying to block all of the airspace, not allowing Lucy to jump. We get a blood heat activation from Masoma. No, we don't. It's Moondrive. Sorry.
Oh, and then Lucy manages to low shield the moon skill stomp with the real punish afterwards. Decides not to launch Masoma, just lets him tech to the ground. Good pressure from Masoma, making sure that Lucy can't try to jump too early, try to intercept him.
Ooh, I thought that was going to catch Masoma.
Yes. Oh, overhead gets blocked again.
Okay,
Guard cancel heat.
Yeah, another heat activation from Lucy. Finally had something to do that there. Spent a lot of that bar. Didn't really get anything from it. Did get some health back, though. Made it a bit more even. Shield comes out. Another shield and a BC counter at the end of it.
And then the moon skill projectile from Masoma. Oh, she gets hit trying to do 2-2-C there.
Lucy.
If Masoma was a little bit faster, Lucy would not have been able to jump there, but because she got off the ground early enough, she was able to just clean jump over the flame card.
Heavens. You know, I comment a lot on these opening combos from Masoma because he's so consistent at them and getting a round start advantage. But Lucy working on the back foot has been doing spectacularly. Does another one of those run-ups and goes ahead. We have Moondrive from Moondrive. Both are active now. Lots of icicles. Jesus, Christmas trees.
Well, they want to make sure you can't flinch. Or also they're doing ice does more chip damage than normal, so the slow chip over time is a very oh my goodness.
Oh no.
Alright, Masoma was just outside of range for that to hit him, so he gets to punish it for free. He might have to spend another bar if he wants to end this round. No, he's just screwing else. Holy.
Yeah, just the jump back was J8 or JB was able to take that.
Oh, wow, that jump he actually hit from that angle. Okay. Very nice, Masoma.
So Masoma finally adjusting a bit to those heat activations from Lucy. Okay, I say that, and then he just got bonked. Man, come on, Masoma. I was complimenting you.
Oh, alright, just manages to keep Lucy in the corner anyway. Tries to stay in tech, gets hit with the air dash jump C. Lucy gets her turn backs, drops the combo though. Masoma activates Moondrive to see what's happening. I'm gonna use this advantage to keep pressure. Oh god.
Oh wow, so there was a tech out of the EX version of the ice on the floor. So Lucy actually missed a whole bunch of incoming damage and a big incoming combo from that as well. Oh, do you get a fatal counter in there as well? So that was a little bit more damage from Lucy into Masoma. They're actually really even right now across the board.
And you can tell, you can tell they don't want to commit first because if they're not blocking low, that means this happens.
Yeah.
Masoma manages to get a clean hit there in that scramble because they were holding down back for like 20-30 seconds until someone flinched. It's like the Wild West but with ice.
Aha, we're back in the room. So are we going to switch or are we just taking a break? I mean, we know Lucy has other characters. We've seen her play other characters. I've actually seen a lot of people talking in chat that Lucy has a Ciel, which would be really interesting to see.
Yes, that's one of the things about being multifaceted with a bunch of characters means you have this wide array of what you want to pick, but it also comes at the sacrifice of if you're not 100% confident in your pick, then you lack the ability to play at 100% that you would with your main character normally. So sometimes while it is good to know how to play a lot of characters, it's better to be 100% with someone you trust to get you through times like this. And speaking of which, Lucy's just like, screw it, I'm gonna stick with Roa.
I mean, I think this is a good choice. It's what got her this far. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the Vlav mirror was really exciting and it wasn't going poorly, but we're down to the wire. It's 1-1 in a grand finals reset. We're all losers now. So you need to make the decisions that help you get the advantage.
Okay. Alright, so now let's see if Masoma can adjust to this new playstyle of a character, but I'm pretty sure he's fought a bunch of Roas in his time, so this shouldn't be out of his wheelhouse.
All right. So Masoma, very, very strong start. The thing with Roa, in addition to all the really cool other projectile things that he's got, is he is real fast and has moves that dash him across the screen in a split second, like we're seeing right now. The lightning combo comes out, throws into the corner. What's the setup? Goes low, and then we do get a BC or a B counter from Masoma and a throw to keep Lucy in there.
All right, Lucy's low shield's projectile activates Moondrive to try to chase down Masoma. Masoma gets away anyway. So now we're back to this full screen game. Unfortunately, Lucy gets hit low. Should be able to end the round.
Yes, does take it. Really strong there from Masoma. Lucy had some really great options. It's just Masoma was always one step ahead in that round. So let's see what Lucy has now, being zoned a lot. Does choose to go to the B counter, close the gap, but now we're in the same position but on the other side of the map.
So Lucy does have 4 meters, so she can kind of punish. Oh, speaking of which,
yeah, I was
just
gonna say,
activates Moondrive instead to keep all that meter, but drops the confirm after. Low shield. Lucy being really aggressive. A punishes the landing recovery from Masoma. Should spin the bar. There we go.
Gets a throw. Now gotta be really careful here because that was in the previous round where Masoma got all their advantages was after that throw. Lucy chose to throw again, but now we're getting. Oh, we do have a Moondrive activation. Just trying to see what the incoming was, and still has plenty of meter.
And you can see Masoma waiting. He doesn't want to overcommit to anything right away, same with Lucy, but she did not down back in time and got hit by the low stomp. One more interaction to end the round for Masoma. Probably trying to bait heat here. Oh, there it is.
Caught again. Oh, gracious. So that's now Masoma is 2 up. Does Lucy chooses to return to the room? Maybe has another character. Maybe deciding to do something differently in this matchup. I thought the Roa did not go well.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was one of those things where maybe she had been playing WoW for too long and she wasn't 100% comfortable right away. And it looks like she just says, screw it, I'm going to go back to the character that I unfortunately was playing for roughly 4 or 5 games. And her muscle memory is probably more adjusted to playing WoW anyway.
Right. I mean, the timing on both of the characters of Lav and Roa is very different in the confirms that you have to make. And unfortunately for Lucy, they just weren't there on Roa. It could have been entirely different, but we're back to Lav. This could be the end of Grand Finals unless Lucy makes some significant adjustments.
Oh, all right. Lucy manages to attack Masoma with the air projectile. Low shield from Masoma. The vanish gets blocked. And Lucy manages to get her turn back. Gets a clean hit. Should spend a bar here. Very nice. Now let's see what Masoma decides to do on defense. Blocks the charge MC. No double overhead.
Yeah, gets hit with the low. Finally opened up. Jump combo. Goes ahead and ends it with the meter. Oh, wow. And the immediate jump in the air, the jump throw to catch. That was actually really cool.
Masoma willing to press 2A on wake up there and not die.
Sure.
Double overhead, no throw, just keeping staggers present. Now you can see how Masoma's trying to be careful not to get hit by anything because it'll end the round for him.
No, not anything at all. Okay. Just keeping a lot of distance. I mean, Lucy is at a clear advantage right now. The shield immediately to get the incoming projectile and just keep himself safe. We have him in drive activation just to try and, change up the timing and the spacing a little bit. Masoma has got nothing to work with and refuses to do any sort of heat activation because he knows that Lucy's ready for it.
Oh my god, that almost confirmed. That was really scary. Oh, there's a heat from Lucy. Okay.
Oh, baby.
That could have been really bad for Lucy if Masoma managed to get his turn back and get a hit, but we take those, but it looked kind of sloppy. Oh my god.
Oh, that overhead.
The low shield, holding the low shield gets blown up by the standing overhead, and that's how you deal with that.
Yeah.
Alright, Lucy clashing with the jump C with her 5A. Anti-air shield doesn't work out, gets baited by the empty jump low.
Okay, Masoma definitely has the meter to close this out within the next interaction if they get it, but Lucy has been playing really well at low health. Stands up, gets not hit by that overhead. Oh, there was a little fake out backdash too. Masoma's just trying to get Lucy to press buttons right now.
Yeah, he's trying to bait out anti-air shield. Lucy's not biting. She's just willing to block it out. She decides to take her turn, baits the throw attempt. Okay, decides not to spend any meter. Has to aggress. Gets a forward
Run up throw. That's an option. Oh, I thought she was going to do it again. So did Masoma, I think.
Oh no, Masoma held low shield, got blown up by the air dash jump C.
Oh no.
Drop combo.
Oh god, Masoma stood up just in time for that. Empty jump and then the backdash. The shield immediately to keep safe. Oh god, the low does not finish connecting. It just pushed Lucy back a little too far.
And now they're both waiting to see who does the stomp first. Oh, 10 seconds. They're both waiting right now. Masoma's just like, I'm just gonna chill back here. What are you gonna do?
It's 4 seconds. You have to do something.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no way. No way does Lucy win off of this.
She's gaining all her health back.
Oh my god.
Wait.
Who wins?
Oh my god, Masoma got it. Oh my god.
What? That is outrageous.
Oh. All right, so Masoma somehow got that last round by the skin of his teeth, and he's on tournament point right now.
That was highway robbery. That was ridiculous. Oh my god. If I'm Lucy, I'm doing what she's doing right now and just beating Masoma up because that was silly.
Masoma doing really well to win that last round, but now he's at a deficit this round so far. He has a lot of meters, so if he gets a clean hit, he can just swing the life back into his favor. Deciding to spend a lot of meter there. Anti-air shield works out for Lucy.
Oh my heavens. This is a big combo here for Lucy. Masoma has the damage, but Masoma doesn't use his heat very often. Okay, he did it right as I said it. You know, thanks for proving me wrong, dude.
Oh no, she with the jump in. Hard drive. All right. Masoma needs 2 more interactions to win this set. Oh god.
Yeah, but so does Lucy.
Oh, no overhead. Anti-air shield. Oh,
God, so much patience.
Yeah, they're both willing to block out a lot of situations, but Lucy's really good at doing anti-air shield follow-ups to bait out Masoma's actions.
What do we go for? All right, the projectiles go high, but Masoma is ducking. Oh, counters the shield. Oh my god, the movement in the air to get out of that launcher was incredible. The chip damage on Masoma is so high right now. He's got a sliver, but you know what? I've said it before. He's come back from that. We saw it. We saw it today.
So, Masoma gets a hit with the moon skill stomp. He's in moon drive. He's trying to get his meter back. And he got hit by the moon skill ice projectile. It is now 2-2 for both players. So, next game wins the tournament. And so far, Lucy making the adjustment in that game 4 was really important because it looked like after she lost the first round, she was going to just crumble. But
yes,
a lot of slow decision making from Lucy was able to help pace herself back into the game.
Yeah, so it really does come down to game 10. And I mean, personally, as a vlog player, I couldn't ask for anything more. I could ask for 1.5 more seconds to breathe after recovery because my head was on my desk. But we're going to go and open up the last game where 2-2 in Grand Finals reset and Masoma, another strong start.
Up, and there's Lucy contesting the air dash from Masoma with a 5B. We'll get a full confirm, spend some meter, and then just try to be the first one who gets the clean hit with the projectile from full screen. And as we've seen, it's really hard to do that. Both players are just willing to just wait it out, except right there, unfortunately for Lucy.
Yeah, Oak does manage to tech in the air, and so much air movement to try and get Masoma away, or get away from Masoma. It's okay though, you throw him.
Oh my god. That just threw Lucy out of her 2B, and once again, Masoma on tournament point.
Yeah. So overhead does open Masoma up for Lucy. Lucy working with an entirely full moon and did have all 4 bars of magic circuit as well, but chose to spend one at the end of the combo there. Oh my god, they just stared at each other.
The most intimidating thing is to do nothing. And
I'm intimidated.
And unfortunately, Lucy flinched at the last second, got hit by the last follow-up part of the Rekka. Masoma still keeping pressure, goes for the fake overhead, activates moon drive back. It's still my turn. All right, back full screen. Masoma's just chilling. He has to because those projectiles pulled. But You can
They
see
are indeed. A throw there from Masoma, but just jump back from Lucy. The shield comes out, and we do get the launcher. Lucy has a ton of meter to close this out. What do they decide to do? Okay, they're just going to charge Moon instead. Goes for an overhead, does it again, opens up with a low. She can end this. She does. It is final game, final round, Vlav mirror. I am excited.
Okay, all right, Masoma already just like, screw this, I'm winning this tournament. Like, that's a 95-second heat from Lucy. She has no more meter to work with after the heat disappears.
Just jump in, hit with the overhead. My God.
All right, Masoma not looking good so far, even though he has 4 bar. He's at a deficit, and being in deficit in this type of matchup is usually not good because your movement dictates how much you can interact with Wall, but Masoma manages to get a hit.
Yeah, it does manage. Oh gosh, Lucy is blocking for her life right now. Just
oh, there it is.
It is shielded. This is a big opening for Masoma. He's got 3 bars at the end of this. Does he go ahead and no? Uses the one. Does the same jump combo? Okay. Gets a launcher so delayed from Lucy though.
Masoma has Moondrive, he has regular meter, Lucy has almost nothing. So the next hit from Masoma should seal the round, provided he doesn't. Oof, he's making a one-hit game here. Lucy can't. Oh my god.
Oh my god, there's the heat. Oh gosh, blood comes in to shield for shield, and that's it. Masoma takes it.
Oh my god, Masoma with the reactionary. Masoma presses Moondrive in that last interaction, sees he gets a shield, does nothing after because he knows Lucy is willing to shield back so she doesn't get anti-aired, does nothing and punishes the landing recovery to win the tournament.
Unbelievable. Incredible grand finals. That was so much fun to get to watch, and getting to hear and see you guys so excited. Thanks for all the GGs too. Those were good games. Those were 3-2 and very close. I mean, it was down to one hit either person. I had no idea how that was gonna go.
Yeah, those type of situations are very nerve-wracking because Vlav is the type of character to where you are not allowed to stand up if he's doing nothing, because at full screen, if he immediately does a stomp and you're not holding down back, you get hit low. So it was really good on Masoma to use all of his meter to make it so that one more hit won him the tournament. So a lot of people there would say, why would he spend meter? Why would he be so aggressive? When if he makes it so that Lucy dies off of one mistake, then that's better in his favor, and she has to worry about getting hit that one time, which puts a lot more pressure on you as a player.
Yes, now that we've had a second to catch our breath and collectively exhale, let's take a look at the replay and see how Masoma made it through this mirror match.
This is the first set where Masoma managed to get the punish on the heat there, and then I think there's like one more interaction here afterwards. Spends meter once again. You can see Masoma trying to open her up, but gets hit by the A launcher after shield. Masoma not willing to shield back. He's just like, screw it, I'm gonna get hit. And then he got hit by 2A there on wake up because he was mashing as well. And then
just don't press buttons, don't mash.
No, just don't mash. Poof. And then Masoma got hit here, and I was pretty sure this swing was big enough for him to lose the set, but he somehow he won this round somehow. I don't understand how he did that.
Yeah, so there was that really careful shielding where he decided to do nothing afterwards. There was the Moondrive activation there, spent 2 bars of meter to just get Lucy knocked into the air, and then caught Lucy on the recovery coming down because she chose to use 2 air actions. We've said it multiple times today. That's real dangerous.
Exactly. And then here in the bracket reset, Masoma was looking pretty good up until, I forget the interaction here. I'm pretty sure Lucy dashed in, made sure she got a heat, and then Masoma was just like, man, I'm gonna lose this round. I don't want to lose yet. So he manages to not have to block them on the way down. He moon drives, sees that occurs, and is able to punish the recovery. And then, of course, the one time where he needed to punish the heat activation was right here. He gets a full combo, and then the next interaction right after was him spending all his meter to keep her full screen, and if she got hit, she would lose. There's the heat. Masoma almost lost because he decided to hold down shield, but he recovered in time with Moondrive, saw her jump with shield, and then just anti-aired her low afterwards and won the tournament.
It was such incredible gameplay, and the number of times that they just stared at each other, daring the other person to do something, was so incredibly intense, and it made for a really great ending to the start of a fantastic tournament series. So let's take a look right now at the bracket and check out the final standings for Central Region.
As you can see, Masoma started off at winner side top 8, lost to Blooming Lotus, and then crawled his way all the way back from the loser side, playing a ton of games, and then finally got back to Lucy in grand finals, went down to 2-2, reset the bracket, and then it went down 2-2 again to win the tournament.
It was great. It was great all around. It was so exciting to get to see all of the different characters that we had represented today and that we will continue to have represented throughout this tournament series. So this is going to wrap up the Central Region, but we have more qualifying action coming your way. So if you're in the Central Region, sorry, it's over. Ta-da! But coming up next is the West Qualifier. So let's take a look at that real quick. The official tournament for the United States West Qualifier, the registration opens on August 29th. And the tournament will be September 24th and 25th. So for more info, go to bit.ly/MeltyUSA, and you're going to be able to find all the information there. So West Coast home slices, go sign up.
Yes, make sure that if you're on the West Coast and you're like, man, I wish I could get into one of these. This is now your chance. You don't have an excuse. You have almost a month to figure out your schedule for the tournament, so that way you don't have to worry about like family obligations, work. You can take the day off if you need to, or you can get back from work early. Just make sure you register August 29th. There will be a cutoff date that will be advertised later. You can follow Eliphant. You also make sure you follow the official French Bread account. They'll also make you aware of when that's going on. But please make sure that if you're on the West Coast and you want to play, you go to bit.ly/MeltyUSA and you'll get the information you need to know when and where to play, and you won't be disappointed. So please let your friends know who live on the West Coast to sign up, to get ready. And once again, I want to say thank you to Eliphant, to Mike Ross for setting this up, doing all this hard work to make sure production looks this good. The player coordination is also good for, getting ready for matches, getting the information, getting the players' pictures. That's not easy. You have to like corral gamers to do specific things. That can be kind of hard, but they're very good at their job. So I want to say thank you once again to Eliphant and Mike Ross. We wouldn't be here without you guys.
No, definitely not. And so just so that you guys know, there is going to be, for these 3 regions, it's going to culminate in an offline finals at the end of all of this. Stay tuned later to find out when all of that is going to be, but there is going to be a huge showdown offline with all of these players, so you're definitely not going to want to miss that. So we're going to wrap it up here for today. I am Jadelyn. You can find me across all social medias at Jadelyn Gaming. And yeah, I love Melty Blood, and this has been an honor to be here. What about you, Fox?
I just want to say, yes, I'm glad I was able to be picked to do this, because honestly, I wasn't sure if this was going to happen, but I'm glad that I was reached out to do this, and I made sure that I was ready for this tournament by doing my research, making sure I knew what characters did, trying to be as professional as possible. And if you want to see any information from me about when I stream, about my videos that I upload, about what I talk about, how I feel about Melty Blood, you can follow me on Twitter at MakotoFox_, and you can find more there. But for right now, I want to say thank you to everybody watching tonight, and we will see you all next time. So once again, thank you and goodbye.
Just cracked open, and that's gonna go ahead and give another one to Lucy or something. There's a lot of meter on the table for both players right now. Gets the hit, doesn't get anything after that jump. Moonshard from Moondrive activation. They clash in the air. God, this is intense.
Oh no! Tomo lifts his record and gets hit from behind. So let's see what Blooming Lotus tries to do. Set up an orb.
Oh my god! No!
Wait, this might be the end of the round.
It really could be. Is there enough EX yet? No, he's alive. No, he's dead. Jeez.
Blooming Lotus actually could have did a better combo. He has a lot of buttons that move him forward, and oh my goodness. enough of that. We just saw Wowza get to bait Shinigami's heat activation and should be able to end the round.
Yeah, it
Ooh.
doesn't.
You can see Tenshi trying to get another clean hit in somehow, but you have to worry about blocking sealed knives. There's the moon drive.
Ooh, big throw.
Ooh, tries to bait out a throw with DP.
We tech. They both just took so long after that commitment, and then Wowza went in with a low. But look, Lunar said, "I'm out of here. I committed, but I can still leave."
Ooh, all right, nice EXP during a block streak. So he made it so that the gap was a lot bigger, so he could react and press shield. Oh my goodness, the jump shield from Tenshi tried to shield a projectile, but because Masoma did nothing, he gets the punish and freeze. Yeah, if Living Lotus heats poorly, that might be the end of the round for them.
Yeah, that was very, very sketchy. Oh, but the orb setup was actually really nice. I think Lucy thought that she could get more off of that than she could. Stand shield, Lunar went low, but then ended up dropping the combo. However, Masoma might die here.
Oh, backs off. Just trying to figure out how to get a hit. Oh my god. Alright, clean to away confirm for Masoma. Might spin bar. Heat. Just go for the mix up.
No, we tech those.
Alright. Over.
Oh, the overhead.
Masoma doesn't get hit by the jump C. Oh, yeah. Small confirm from Lotus.
Okay, the overhead comes out. The moon drive activation. I like the idea, but the execution was no good.
Actually, provided he doesn't. Oof. He's making a one-hit game here. Lucy can't. Oh my god.
Oh my god, there's the heat. Oh gosh, blood comes in to shield for shield, and